Welcome to Expanded Understanding. Think it's episode 16. It is May 6th. It's the night of the full moon. So make sure to go outside and howl if you haven't already. That's very important. You're going to want to do that. So good to see you all tonight. Samantha, Lisa, Willow, Charlotte, Jasmine, Paranormal. Very wonderful to have all of you here. We have two cool guests tonight. We have both Paula and Khala for Alla you. So, Paula is Frank's wife. Khala is of chat fame, so you all know her. Anybody from the Fearless community probably knows Paula. If you have not been here before or you're watching this in a replay, please like and subscribe underneath and check out the description for all of our other community projects. We have a lot of things that we do here, and this is a growing community that has all types of community events, group meditations, yoga. The list really just goes on and on. I'm not going to bore you with it. Check out the stuff below. We talk about it all the time. You can check it out down there. I'm going to go ahead and bring Paula in because she is already here. Aaron actually has Khala at his house, and so they're getting set up right now with all of their stuff, and they will be here whenever they get ready with that. So, hi Paula, how are
Hi,
you?
how are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, good. How are you doing?
I am doing quite well. How are you now?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. You guys got that yard all cleaned up next to you? Has that changed the energy of the place?
Oh my goodness. Frank had to just run back over there now. Yeah, it definitely did. He even what he did was he set intentions the night before,
Mm-hmm.
and he got neighbors to help yesterday, and it's almost all cleared out now. So
That's a
this yard is this man has been using his yard as a dumping ground for years. So he got in there and cleaned it out, and then a couple of neighbors started helping, and it's just getting progressively better. And then he did. He's gonna go back tomorrow, and then he's gonna, clear out the space. We're gonna get out the sage, and he's gonna, change the energy around there. But you could definitely feel it already.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast something can change when like a bunch of people come together on it and the wheels really start turning.
It is amazing. It is amazing.
Well, I hope that getting that energy cleared out over there makes things better because I think it will. I find like when we have all these like cluttered spaces and dead spaces like that that have just kind of all this randomness in them, it just adds so much variance to basically the energy that we're in.
Oh, I agree. I agree. So we will definitely let you know how it feels tomorrow.
Cool. Hopefully you guys are able to like maybe like get the community, start having like some camaraderie and everybody could like each other and stuff. That would be neat.
That would be neat. I mean, it's so simple, but people are resistant. People are afraid.
What do you, Frank said something about that somebody brought up that he thought that Frank should live in the house that has the backyard. What do you think about that?
Uh, if we could buy it, yeah, we'd have to do a lot of work to it. But yeah, that would be his mother would be ecstatic because we'd be right next door. So
Yeah.
yeah, that would be wonderful if that
It
could be.
seems I mean from the only picture we saw, we can't really tell like how many square feet that area is, but is it enough to like grow a bunch of food if you put a garden back there?
Oh yeah, I think that yard is like 30 feet by 30 feet, 40 feet maybe. Yeah, you could definitely put a lot of raised beds back there.
Yeah.
You could easily fit 5 raised beds back there.
Nice. That would be cool. I think that like that community guerrilla gardening,
Mhm.
especially in urban areas, is like that's the life hack right there.
Oh
Like,
yeah, definitely. I mean, what we're able to do in pots here, in the spring and the summer is amazing. I just have a lot of planters out, and we garden in the planters. And,
mhm.
I mean, it's just get your hands in the dirt, do what you have to do.
Yeah, if you've never gardened before, it's always so surprising like how much food you can actually
Mhm.
generate just even in a small space. The first time I ever like really was like I'm gonna start growing my own food, I rototilled these gigantic gardens. It was like 2,000 plus square feet of ground space, planted stuff all over it, and realized in like 3 weeks I was like I can't take care of all this shit. Like Jesus, this is so much stuff.
No, you gotta start small, and you have to plant the things you like. A lot of people plant stuff in their garden that they did never want to eat. And that's fine.
Yeah,
You can give it away. But,
sure.
if you're gonna have it, plant what you like. And if you like
Yeah.
a few things, then just plant a few things, and get crazy and ask people. And everyone has tips and tricks and, great ideas. Just talk to people.
Yeah. Number one great idea I learned is if you don't like zucchini an awful lot,
Yeah.
don't grow more than you can eat because other people don't really want it from you.
Nope.
I had like this whole bed that was basically like cucumbers, pumpkins, zucchini, stuff like that. And I had this 4 hook zucchini plant that just went, yeah, I mean, it went absolutely insane. It was doing like couple 20-inch zucchinis like every other day. And I couldn't possibly keep up with it. Like I was trying to shove zucchini down everybody's throat, and
Oh,
people are like, "Look, I didn't really want this in the first place. I mean, like I'll take one because you're giving it to me." But
right.
there's so many of my friends' house that year that I'd show up over at their house and they had like 1, 2 zucchinis of mine sitting on their counter, and it's just never gonna eat it.
But isn't that awesome though, that you can just go with a basket of vegetables to someone and say, "Here, I grew this myself."
Yeah. Would you be able to turn your mic levels up just a little bit? Is that
Uh,
easy to do?
yeah. Oh, my mic levels. Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah.
He's got this whole board here. So.
Yeah, this thing right here, Jacob. The cluttered areas give a place for demonic type entities to hide and habitate in. You know the saying, cleanliness is next to godliness. I really think it is important to handle hygiene on a whole lot of levels. I mean, not we think about this all the time as like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, etc., but also on like very much so many spiritual levels too, handling your hygiene. And then also if you are into doing any types of rituals or calling in spirits, entities, or gods, there's also a ritual hygiene that I think is very important to work with as well, unless you want to leave those things lingering in your space, which is not always the best idea, in my opinion. Do you have experience with much like ritual type of stuff? Like I'm not really sure what your background is, Paul. Maybe you could illuminate us on your background because I know I don't know and I would like to know and maybe others don't either. Oh, now your mic is muted. Did you? I think you accidentally muted it.
Oh,
There we
sorry.
go.
Sorry. Frank usually handles all of this for me. I'm just
Yeah.
now. Um. Well, I mean, it's it's a it's kind of a funny story. I have been on this path for a very long time, and I got stuck in corporate working. I had a career. I owned a home. I worked 10 to 12 hours a day. I went to sleep with my laptop. I woke up with my laptop. Everything was work. Everything was my
Mhm.
career. I was single. I'm divorced, but I was single, and
Mhm.
I didn't think I'd find anyone that could understand the way I thought. And I said, I'm going to put all of my energy into my career, into
Mhm.
my home, and I'm going to make money. I'm not going to be distracted with a relationship. I'm just going to be the best at my career. And
Mhm.
I didn't really like the person that I was turning into.
Mhm.
And but I figured if I was going to be alone, that's what I was going to do. I always took care of myself. I never needed a man for money or, permission to do anything. And I really was convinced that if I can't be in a happy relationship, I'm going to be in no relationship.
Mhm.
And and then I met Frank, and everything turned upside down. And I had already been thinking about seriously leaving my career. I knew I didn't want to do that anymore. I knew I didn't want to work hard like that anymore. It was
Mhm.
the you get another promotion, you're working just as hard. It doesn't stop. It doesn't let up.
Yeah.
And I had wanted to leave. I met Frank. I had a couple of ayahuasca experiences because of Frank, and basically that changed my life, and it made me really look at things in my life very differently.
Mhm.
And then change just started to happen. But everything leading up to the Aya experience, I was already on that path. It was going
Mhm.
to happen one way or another. I just didn't know how. And
Yeah.
then Frank and I got together. I had the experience. Everything changed, and then I had to take a really deep, honest look inside and say, if I don't make a change, I'm gonna get very sick here.
Mm,
And I'm not going to be able to work anymore. I'm not going to be able to take care of myself. And that's exactly what happened. And it was probably the best thing that could have happened for me because I was forced to make a change. And
sure.
it was, you know, there are always these life changing events that happen to you, but some people want them to be very big life changing events. These were all very small life changing events, all very
Mm,
small timed events that led me to where we are now. And then once I stopped working, Frank and I could really focus on manifesting stuff and putting all of the talk that we did into practice. And then we started our show, and one thing led to another. And then we started the Fearless Group, and we created a safe environment where people could come together and share their views and opinions without being judged, without people who don't understand this path could not come in and make anyone feel uncomfortable. And, we're very proud of that because it is a safe space where people can come and share ideas and meet each other. And basically, that's how we met Aaron. We met Aaron through the group. He became friends with Frank online. And, then he came to visit us, and it started this beautiful friendship. And I mean, look at where we are now. You guys do a show every night. I mean, this is amazing. What you're doing is amazing. You're connecting so many different people, and you're providing a space where people can talk about anything they want, and
yeah,
and
that's really the goal.
yeah, with no fear of being judged, and that's a wonderful thing. That in itself is a wonderful thing. So thank you for what you're doing. But yeah, that's
Well,
how I got
you
here.
are very welcome. I think you and Frank doing this thing is probably, especially on Aaron's side, part of what helps him. Like, even he wanted to do this. He started doing his own little like things that he was doing, and that's kind of like what put him on my radar for doing things. Even was that stuff. So it was, I think, really Frank and you are a really big part of this even happening. So thanks
Oh,
for that.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I just love all the people that are coming together. When we've met in the last 5 years, we've met so many wonderful people from all over the world. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
just, all over the country; it's all over the world. And we've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of you, which is wonderful. Because talking online or corresponding, I mean, it's wonderful. But when you actually get to meet someone and hug and kiss and touch them, and you know know that they understand what you understand and what you're feeling, there's nothing else like it. There really isn't. It's the family we don't get to choose. It's a family we choose because we don't get to choose
right.
the family, and that's it's beautiful. It really is. It's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think like relationships in that family works better when the people came together around something that was like a passion of theirs or what they wanted to follow or the space they wanted to be in, rather than like if we get your corporate world you were talking about before, we oftentimes were like at work so much that like our friend and peer group, they come from basically like work and the gym,
Hmm.
or maybe like on the commute home if you're lucky enough to have any format of public commute, even though if you have that you're probably like, oh, it's fucking public commute, you know.
Hmm.
But like you end up with very limited places really to like meet people, and it's hard to find someone who really your interests align with when you're in that kind of space.
It really is. And then you ask yourself, how honest am I being in this friendship?
Mm,
Because you really don't know me. Because if they are work friends or circles of friends, because you're in that area, you can't. How much are you sharing? How much you sharing
yeah,
working that much anyway? How much time do you have to give to yourself when you're
right.
working that much? But I feel like we can cut through all of that now. I don't want to. I don't need friends. I need
Hmm.
people who understand what I'm trying to get accomplished here. I need people to understand how I feel.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And we have, I mean, people that we talk to from like I said, from all over. I mean, I can say something, and or Frank can say something, and then someone will respond with an answer, um, with with an antidote, with a solution. And it's amazing because we're not restricted by anything. It's like, look,
Mm,
here I am, I can help, what do you need? And
yeah.
beautiful thing because people don't do that either. No one wants to get that involved in anyone's life,
Right.
and I feel like here, everyone's pretty much on the same, we're sharing the same mindset, where why are you putting limits, or why are you judging anything that I'm thinking of? Why are you putting limits on what I think I can do?
Yeah. I
And
think we have so many ruled spaces out there where it's like this is how you're supposed to be, and even if it's not said, not written rules, but just like that's
exactly.
kind of how people act around here, and we end up in this situation where we can't really be authentic to who we are, and without spaces provided to be able to do that, like in a certain way, we're kind of like we're like we're really just like living in a coffin, basically, in a certain way.
I understand that, but I only want to talk to people who understand what I'm saying. I really,
Yeah,
I don't want to waste time. I wasted a lot of time my whole life. I don't want to waste time now.
sure. Yeah, I'm definitely with that. I feel like it's very easy to fall into distractions
Hmm.
that aren't in line with what you're actually supposed to be doing with your life, especially if you're not really towing that line of authenticity and sometimes willing to just be like, look, I don't want to talk about this. In fact, we never talk about anything I want to talk about. I'm going to talk to other people.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I noticed my own behavior. I noticed my own behavior one day sitting on the other side of the table, and I was just nodding and smiling, and I wasn't sharing because
Hmm.
you were people I couldn't share with. So
Yeah,
I don't want to spend an evening nodding and smiling at you because
yeah,
then no one's getting anything out of this. It's a waste of time.
yeah. One of the great things about the internet is that it really has shown us that there is that even if you get if you even if you're real weird, there's still that interconnectivity of
Mhm.
experience and other people. And when we were when we had no internet, like I mean, it was very easy to end up in a small town. You're the only person that thinks this way, and literally you go your whole life never meeting another person, and
No,
it's so black sheep. But it doesn't have to be that way anymore.
no, not at all. Not at all. We're all connected now. It's very easy. Hi, Erin.
Hi, Paula.
Oh,
Good to see you.
good to see you.
Good to be seen by you, Paula.
How you doing? I'm sorry, Zach. I didn't mean to. I didn't want to.
Oh no, you're totally fine. We should introduce Aaron since we have him on the screen.
Okay.
Aaron's here, and he's on location again at his parents' again, and on location with Paula Sislo, who you can see here, over here, but
Hi.
can't hear because I can't get my thing set up. So she's following on the headset there, and we actually have a way to bring her on the stream here in a little bit, um, and talk about just how add her to the conversation, the dynamic. But Paula, please keep sharing. I love when you just share things about your life because you speak and you
Oh,
perceive things in really amazing ways.
um. Well, you have to start me off, Aaron. What do you want to talk about? How you How are you doing? How are you doing? Is your
I,
phone getting set up, or are you not?
actually, Call is gonna help me set up my apartment while she's here.
Oh, you are? Oh, good for you. Good for you. Set it up practically. Practically, make sure spoons are where they're supposed to be, and cups and knives and dishes and everything, and you don't have to walk back and forth across the kitchen to find things. Um, wow.
Aaron's apartment's like 20 feet long, so he doesn't have to walk back and forth very far because he's 608 feet tall. So it's actually one step from each side of the apartment. She's going to help him set up more walkways so he can take more than one step in his apartment.
Well, it's
Yeah,
funny.
no doubt.
It's funny that you say that because I have a tiny apartment. I used to own a home, and I gave it all
Hmm.
up, and now Frank and I live in a one-bedroom apartment with several cats. And when Aaron comes, it's like having it's like having a Great Dane in a small apartment. He doesn't have any room to stretch his legs or raise his arms. He's got to go outside and stretch if he wants to. But we make it work, so it's okay.
Yeah, we do. It's great. It's a great spot. It's very, very cozy. I love it. It's wonderful.
It really is a cozy spot. And you want to know something? Out of all of the places, this is going to sound so stupid. Out of all of the places I ever lived, and I owned my own home, this is my favorite place I've ever lived, in this little box. And I had to, Aaron knows, when I had to sell my house, um, I basically had to get rid of everything because I wasn't going to be one of those people that was going to pay a storage bill to house all of the furniture that I couldn't have in my apartment. So
Mm.
it with tears and hyperventilating, I basically had to get rid of everything. And then when I came here, Frank would laugh at me because it looked like I was fencing stolen goods. It was just walls and walls of boxes in one room in this apartment. And
Mm.
if you needed a printer or a comforter or a set of sheets or 10 towels or any electronic appliance you wanted, I had it. And that's when I said this is ridiculous. And I called a carting company and I sat down one night and I cried it out and I had a good purge. I called a carting company. The carting company, the man who owned the carting company, his cousin ended up working with me at Pepsi and he
Hmm.
gave me a really great deal. He sent a dumpster here for $100 and I filled it up. And it hurt and I cried, but once it was over, it was all okay. And like I said, this is my favorite place I've ever lived. This tiny apartment with all these
Mm.
cats. It's my favorite place I've ever been. And
Yeah.
I really that it's very strange. But
Did you get rid of that stuff after you did ayahuasca?
yes. Yes, I
I'd
did.
just like to give a shout out to ayahuasca for making getting rid of all of your shit really easy, because there has been so many occasions that I've heard of, like, well, Jen in the chat, she decided one day she wanted to get rid of all of her shit. One of her friends came over and was like, I'll take all of it. Just bought everything in her fucking house.
That's wonderful. I donated, I gave away, and whatever anyone didn't want, I threw away. But I gave as much stuff as I could give away. I had, and so then when I got to this apartment, I stopped working for almost a year, and then I went back to work for almost a year because I had a very difficult time not working. It was not easy not to work. I worked my whole life. I had it was I guess the last piece of attachment that had to go, and I even gave away more stuff because one of the girls I was working in just got an apartment, and I gave her everything I could possibly give her for her new apartment. And then I managed to get rid of more stuff. So yeah, it definitely is a side effect from Aya that you purge. I mean, I can't even tell you. Like when the recycling comes every week I get rid of something. Even if it's just
Mm.
one thing. Every week the promise is every week I have to get rid of one thing. And
You start kind of starting to enjoy it.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of other things that I wish I just I'm still attached though. I can't there's still a
Mm.
little bit of attachment though. But I mean,
Yeah.
I realized you don't need you really don't need much.
Yeah.
You
You
really
did low key burn me a little while ago because you were like, I'm not going to be one of those people that keeps all my shit in storage. I've had a storage shed for like 5 years for like no fucking reason.
That's exactly what I thought
Zero
of, Jack,
reason.
when she said it. Exactly what I thought of.
Yes, you don't want to get rid of it. And I did not want to be one of those people. I didn't want to pay $400 a month for a storage unit for a couch that I paid $800 for. And then have
Thankfully, mine is only $70 a month, so it's not that bad. It's still bad. I get it, but
let me tell you, I'd give anything for a storage unit now because
there's at least 2 things in there I want. At least 2.
but that's okay because you own it. And Aaron knows I say this. If you're gonna do something, even if you know it's it's not the right thing to do, own it. If you're gonna eat it, eat it. Don't talk about it. Don't say why you shouldn't eat it. If you're gonna do it, do it. Don't talk about why you shouldn't do it. Just do it. But if you're gonna do it, own it. So you're owning the fact that you have this storage unit.
Yeah.
And
I'm still trying to figure, like, I think I keep the storage because I'm trying to figure out why the hell I'm keeping the storage. You know what I mean? Like, I would stop if I could figure out why I'm even doing it, but I'm just gonna avoid it if I just stop.
it's a little piece you're hanging on to, and once you figure it out and then you make the decision, then you'll do it.
I also have this problem that, like, most of the year I'm generally like down south, Utah, California, Arizona, and my storage shed is in Leavenworth, Washington. And so it's like on the other side of the country. When I'm around it for like 3-4 months, and when I'm there, I don't really want to deal with my storage shed.
You want you want to be able to visit your stuff. I get that. I totally get that.
I don't even know what half of it is, honestly. I put it in there like 5 years ago or something, and like I have a wall of boxes that I couldn't tell you what a single one of the boxes has in it. No idea.
That might all that stuff might make someone else very happy. You never know. You know,
It's not with me owning it, because I'd have to go to the storage shed and get it out of there, and that's probably not going to happen.
we had to do that when Frank decided he was going to move into the apartment. So
Hmm.
I had met Frank, and we didn't know each other long at all before we hit the ground running with this relationship, as many of you know. And when I moved back to the Bronx, it was not decided whether or not he was going to live here. And I really didn't think I was going to stay here. I thought this was just going to be a temporary stop until I decided what I wanted to do next. Because
Hmm.
I wanted to buy a little garden apartment. And,
Mm.
and then I said, well, if I don't do that, if I don't purchase a home, I can not work. I can quit my job if I want to. And
Hmm.
so it was a lot, it was just a lot of torment back and forth to decide what to do. And then when Frank decided that he wanted to move in, he had a storage unit that he was paying for every month. And I said, let's go, let's clean it out. You'll bring as much as you can bring here, because I had already done the purge. You can bring as much as
Hmm.
you can bring here. And then between here and your mom's garage, hopefully we can fit the rest. And he did the same thing. We went to the unit. He I brought I said, look, anything you want to bring, you can bring. I don't care how silly it is, how big, small it is, anything you want. Because if he was going to live here with me, I wanted him to be comfortable. I didn't want him to be in my house staying here. If he was truly going to live here, I
Mm.
wanted his shit here. I wanted all of it, the good, the bad, Aaron, the action
Mm.
figures,
Mhm.
Did,
action figures all over the house. Um,
did he bring anything really weird that you're like, oh, I said anything, but could you have not brought that?
No, he brought two pots that we still use, two pots and pans
Hmm.
that we still use that are awesome that his aunt gave him. And he had this gigantic humidifier, and it was the best thing in the world. And we used it so much it broke, and then they discontinued it and we couldn't use it again. But no,
Mm.
when I say, and Aaron knows this,
Hmm.
when I say you can do anything, you can do anything. You know,
except,
Literally means anything.
except, except,
you can do anything.
except. Yeah, the road there. This copy. Yeah, so except for dragging ficus through the house. That is
Oh yeah, don't try
unacceptable.
to strangle my yeah, oh boy. Um, but yeah, pretty much anything. So I wanted him to feel comfortable. So we had to go through all that shit again with his storage unit. And he was like, Paulie, you don't have space for this. I said, I know. But if you're gonna live here, it has to be your space too. Otherwise it's
Mm.
gonna be Frankie staying in Paula's place, you know?
Yeah.
Mm.
You
And
really do have to do that merging. Otherwise, it's really like you're still staying at your girlfriend's house or staying at your boyfriend's house. Like,
Co-nesting.
and that's not fair. That's not fair, and I'm a woman, and I did dicky things when I was younger, and all the women out there, they know, it's your apartment, and don't touch anything, and this is the decor, and this is what we're doing, and you're not going to come in and change anything. And I really didn't want to do that to him, because
Mm.
I really knew I liked him. Aside
mm,
from
Hmm.
loving him and needing to be a part of his life, I really liked him. So,
hmm.
your shit. He found seven cats. We have seven cats.
That was the weird thing. You didn't think he was going to pick up 7 cats suddenly.
Look,
For a couple years.
I always rescued. I went on a vacation with his mom. So now I always rescued. We rescued two cats together while we were here. And he was like, "What are you doing? Well, why are you feeding all these cats?" I was like, "Look, this is what I do. If you're not down with it, that's fine. But this is who I am. This is what I do. I have my animals. I don't have children. If anything happens to my animals on your watch, I blame you." And so that was we got that out of the way in the beginning. So we started rescuing a little bit, cats here and there. I go on vacation with his mom, 2018,
Mm.
July 2018. All of the cats that we were feeding had kittens all at the same time.
Oh, that's a
Had
yikes.
like seven kittens. So a couple of days before my vacation is over, we were FaceTiming every night. After, like at the end of the night, we would FaceTime. And
Mm.
a couple of nights before it was time for me to come home, he sends me pictures of all these kittens, and I said, where are these cats?" He goes, "They're in the yard. You don't believe what's going on here when you come home." So now I'm like, "Okay, all right, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. I'm." pulling myself together. So I was prepared before I got home. He picks us up from the airport. I wheel my suitcase in the gate in front of the house, and 7 kittens come running up to him and play at his feet. And I was like, okay, whatever you want to do, Frank. I mean, it was love. It was love at first sight. I could see it. I could see it. And yeah, so now we rescue everything and we feed anything that has a face and we take care of our landlady who's 99 upstairs. She's 99 years old and she loves him. Um, and yeah, so I rescue cats. I live in a one-bedroom apartment and that's that. And we
And
try and we
that's Paula rescuing cats in a one-bedroom apartment.
I know. And the funny thing is I was set up for all of this before. And that's the funny part. When I owned my home, Frank and I, it would have been the perfect ideal place for Frank and I to do what we do. Spiritual growth, IS sessions, a safe space for people to come and share information. And the timing was just all off. So now we're doing what we can here, and hopefully we'll be doing this someplace else. I mean,
Well,
I don't know.
well, at least we have the internet to hang out, so it makes your one-bedroom apartment vastly larger.
It's
How are you
true,
guys
man.
doing over there? How are your quarantine situations going over there?
Well, let's make sure that we have both the people over there on here first. Kala,
Hello,
hi.
Hi.
Paula.
Hey,
Hi.
everybody.
Oh, you're pretty.
Oh, thank you.
So,
So,
quarantine in Washington State, how is it?
Yeah,
yeah,
how is
Parks
you've been driving through, Paula. How was it?
parks are closed. There's not many places to stay if you're a gypsy.
okay.
So that's been a little bit difficult, but
Oh, that's okay.
definitely
That's okay. We have digital family. That's why Paula is
that's
staying
right.
tonight at my mom's house. They're plugging her in with 20 amp
Yay.
power, and she's got a place to stay. And then she's meeting up with Sam in the group and other people she's even
Hmm.
just met in the chat
Okay.
because we're
Yep.
already creating community and culture. And even Paula and I
Yes.
just met recently. So, like, this is a very awesome thing that's really cool thing that's happening. And just so you know, I think my parents are okay. If you guys come through the area, let me know. There's probably a place for you to hang out, stay, and be on the show at the same time. I'll figure out how to do it in the same room eventually.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
So Kala does her own forms of quantum healing. Kala has 5 degrees, if I remember correctly. Kala loves people. She loves to play. She loves kids. She lives in an RV and lives her life in her palace, her crystal palace, which is amazing. It's really
Method
cool.
Gypsy
to
power.
actually figure out
Yeah.
what parts of me needed to be healed. So I used my body as a map and then tapped into my imagination to be able to warp things to where I lost about 76 pounds or so, and came off of being bedridden so I can walk again. And it's just been great ever since.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean,
Thank
you are beautiful. You're glowing.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
glowing.
you so much.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
I'm super glad to be here. And I don't know what all you guys want me to share, so I'm just going to kind of be a part and slowly integrate into the conversation.
We don't know what we
So,
want to share even. So
well,
we can't help you.
on that note, I do have a question for Paula. Paula, I would like you to dive into, as you're touching on before, about like when you fell in love with Frank, or what, like how ways you fall in love with Frank now, or what you like about Frank. Tell us what Paula likes about Frank.
What do I like about Frank?
Yeah.
Frank and I lived in the next we lived in we lived 2 miles away from each other growing up our whole lives. And we all knew the same friends. And we were probably in the same circles at the same times, but never met.
Hmm.
Even now, when we run into people, he runs into people or I run into people, they're like, how did you never meet? And I don't think we were supposed to meet because I don't think if we were younger, we would have liked each other. I really don't. And
Hmm.
I don't, when I first met him, I thought he was the sweetest guy, really, just the sweetest guy I ever saw. But I didn't think anything of it because, like I had said to Zach earlier, I was in a place where I was not going to be in another relationship. If I was going to be in another relationship and unhappy, I was going to kill myself. And
Yeah.
that wasn't going to happen to me. I was making my own money. I was doing my own thing. I went on vacation 4 or 5 times a year with the girls. I mean, I did everything I wanted to do. And then I meet this really sweet guy,
Hold
and
on, Paula. Paula, tell us why he was so sweet. What did he do that you thought was sweet?
he just the way he said hello when he introduced himself, it was very sweet. He wasn't grabby, he wasn't staring at me or ogling me, or he didn't try to come on to me. He was just very sweet. And when
Mm,
we first met, there was nothing. I mean, my friends just said it was his best friend and my best friend. We said, oh, we're going to see some band play, some one of their friends bands play, and a friend is coming. So I didn't think anything. And I just thought, okay, well, he's a nice guy. Maybe we could be friends. And it kind of just the whole conversation about Aya. I think Aya was what I had been looking for.
mm,
I had done a lot of QHHT healings, and I've done a lot of regression therapies, and really working on myself. Um, learning more about my tolerance, and I had been looking for Aya, but I didn't realize it. And then I met him and we talked about it, and we talked about a lot of other things, and he said to me simply, I can talk to you about these things. And I said, absolutely, you can talk to me about any of this. And I think from that first night I became his spiritual translator. So I was able
mhm,
to explain a lot of things for him. So Frank has a hard time finding the words sometimes for something, and I can find the words very easily for him. And I think it just started a friendship. And then
That's honestly kind of hard to believe about Frank, that he has trouble finding the words for stuff.
for the more spiritual stuff, for like making the connections, how things are placed in your path during your life, uh, things that Aya had revealed to him about me. Aya came to him about me about a month before we met. And I basically, he said, I basically came to him and told him to hang on, that I was coming for him, not to worry. And I had done a regression therapy, and one of the regression therapists told me someone's coming, and I was like, no one's coming for me. I'm good. I don't need anyone. I'm good.
mhm.
And she said, no, 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 someone, you're going to be in a very happy relationship. And that's, I can't even say it, because once she said you're going to be in a very happy relationship, I was like, no, 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 you don't understand. Not me.
You're like, shut the fuck up. You don't know who you're talking to. It's not happening.
There are no happy relationships. I was always Fifi, that the cat from Pepe Le Pew, hiding in a broom closet, trying to get away. And so when she said happy relationship, I was like, no, 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 this is not me.
Mhm.
And we became friends, and we shared a common belief and uh, spirituality, and not putting limits on things. And it kind of just started from there. We didn't like each other really that much in the beginning. He was getting out of a relationship. I didn't want to be in a relationship. So he was pushing me, pushing every button that he could possibly push. And then we got into this big fight. This relationship didn't even start yet. And we got into a big fight. And I said, I don't need this. I was saying it out loud in my house that I owned, that I gave up for him. And I said, I don't need this. I don't need this in my life. I don't even know this guy. He's arguing with me. And the voice came, and the voice said, you got to stick this one out. And I said, no, I don't. No, I don't. I myself.
I don't gotta do shit. Who are you talking to?
That. And I said, absolutely not. I do not have to stick this out, because I was also, very I don't need anybody. I could do everything on my own. And they're like, no, this one you have to stick out. And I said, okay. And we got through all of the ridiculousness that happened in the beginning, people trying to cause problems, and circumstance. And then when it came to it, I bought my house with my best friend, and we had a gentleman's agreement that we were going to stay in the house for 4 years, flip it, so that we could each buy a 2-bedroom condo instead of a 1-bedroom condo. And when she met Frank, she wanted out of that agreement so badly. She said, I don't want to live here anymore. I don't want to own this house with you. And I said, okay, if you want to sell it, you have to get the realtor. I'll sell it. We'll and at that point I had already knew I was going to be with Frank. And I said, let's sell the house. And I sold the house and I packed everything up. And it was a lot to take on faith because I was giving up something I worked for my entire life. All I wanted to do was be a homeowner. And I worked for that my entire life. And I gave it up like this because it meant nothing. After Aya, it meant nothing.
Did you ever discern what you thought her issue with Frank was?
Oh yeah, she knew. She knew we were no longer going to be. I think she had an idea that we were no longer going to be friends. And I think Frank had nothing to do with that, but that was her fear. And
Right. She projected it basically onto Frank because that was like
exactly. And she didn't even give him a chance, really.
Yeah.
And she was my best friend for 15 years.
Mm.
She knew the hardships I went through with my relationship. My last relationship, he was a stalker. I mean, it was terrible. It took me 2 years after the relationship was over to get out of it, to fully
No.
get out of it. And then she saw me be single for a long time, and she saw me date really strange guys, and I thought she would be the one person that would be happy for me, and
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. And I think that's when we knew we had to part ways. And I had a decision to make, and I gave up everything. I sold my house. I got rid of all my things, and eventually I ended up quitting my job. And I live this beautiful, stress-free, very loving, very funny, tender, heartfelt, beautiful, crazy life. And I wouldn't change it for anything. I wouldn't.
What percentage of the things in your life right now are different than what you would have said like 10 years ago you imagined would have been your ideal life?
Okay. I had a dream. I'm gonna sum it up to you right now. I had a dream the other night. Um, and whenever I have a dream or Frank has a dream, Frank has been dreaming about the place that we're going to be moving to. We don't have it yet. We're not moving anytime soon, but Frank has been dreaming about this place for a couple of years now. So I had a dream a couple of months ago, and Al, my old heating guy, when I owned my home from All Seasons Heating, I had a dream about him, and I said, Al, we're buying a property. Would you come and check the heating system, the boiler? Can you check everything? Is everything going to be okay? And I want you to be the guy that comes to fix everything. And he
Mm-hmm.
says, yeah, Paula, how you doing? So how are you doing? How have you been? It's been a couple of years. And I said to him, well, I don't have the house anymore. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment with all these cats, and now I'm a hippie. And he started laughing at me, but that's how other people view my life. Like, she gave everything away for this guy. And
Mm.
that really wasn't it. It was time to make the change. And then he was a vehicle in which I made the change. He actually was the vehicle for me to make the change. But yeah, people would think I was crazy. No one would. If you told me, I talked. If you told me you're gonna meet this guy, he can't work. He's injured. Okay, he can't even support himself. He's injured. You're gonna do ayahuasca. You're gonna do a psychedelic. I never did any psychedelic before. You're gonna walk away from your career. You're gonna sell your house, and you're gonna lose all of your friends. You're gonna get all of these cats. You're gonna adopt all of these cats, and you're gonna smoke more weed than you've ever smoked in your entire life. That is not my life. And sure enough, everything was different, and it could not be better. Really, it could not be better. I have the two of us bring in less income than one of us did working, and we're both happier than we were before.
Mm.
And
Beautiful.
and money is not an issue. I can't even explain it to you. It's almost like nothing changed because nothing is missing. I was keeping up with the job. Um,
Right.
it was it was ridiculous. I had a lot of girlfriends, so it was a lot of handbags and shoes and expensive coats and scarves and going out for dinners and going on trips here and doing things here and you know constantly having to entertain myself, and
Hmm.
entertaining yourself is expensive. you know
Hmm.
and when you're
Hmm.
living that kind of life, you're constantly keeping up with the other people around you. So it starts with one event being a little too much, a little too expensive, and then another event being a little too expensive, and you're spending more than you want here and you're spending more than you want there. And then after
Hmm.
a couple of years, I had enough, and I sat down with my bank account open and my credit card statements, and I added up all the money I spent entertaining myself the last couple of years. And I actually got sick and I almost threw up. And I said,
Hmm.
"This is not the life I want to live." And then I had started making the changes before I met Frank. And now we live this beautiful full life on less than half of what we were able to do before. And nothing's missing. Nothing's missing at all. And I can't explain it. I mean, I know why it happened
Hmm.
because I manifested it, but
Hmm.
people don't get it. It's easy. People just don't get that it could be that easy. Just do something that makes you happy, and the money will
Hmm.
come, and the opportunity will come, and the the people will come, and the knowing will come, and the happiness will come. Just do what you want to do, or don't
Hmm.
do something you don't want to do. If you can't
Yeah.
make a drastic change, just change one little thing. And that's what I did. I changed one little thing and another little thing, and then I built on that. And then it
Yeah.
led me to Frank, and then we resisted it. And then once we gave in, now it's all good. It really is all good. It's very strange. It really is very strange. I gained a set of grandparents. I have the best mother-in-law in the world. I mean she's my mother. I couldn't ask for anything better. I have a full beautiful life,
Hmm.
and it this sounds so silly. Like, Aaron knows, he's smiling because he knows it sounds so silly, and it sounds so um it may even sound naive to some people, but it's really not. Like, if you knew me, I mean, I'm almost 50 years old. If you knew me and how hard I worked my whole life to see me now, like my nephew is going to be 21 this year. He can't believe that I am not working. He can't believe that I don't
Mm.
have a laptop with me, or a laptop bag,
Hmm.
or texting someone a response, on a vacation. He's used to me, having to answer emails on a vacation. So he can't believe this. So, but I didn't want to do any of that anymore. Me and Frank, we make it up as we go. We have responsibilities, we take care of our responsibilities, but after that, anything goes. As long as we're mindful and respectful, anything goes.
Hmm. I love your story, Paula. Just, I mean, your life story, but the way you tell stories and the way you tell that
Oh,
story and
thank
the
you.
story of you and Frank and just all of it, man, because you're beautiful, beautiful people. And I
Thank
love just hearing you share your life, Paula, because the Paula that I've so wonderfully enjoyed, of course, I want to hear about her life. Let's hear about
Oh,
all the things she's experienced and why she is the way she is. Because if you meet Paula, as you can probably already tell, she's wonderful. There's
oh,
no one Paula doesn't love. And if for that reason alone, there's no one that doesn't love Paula. It's
there
just
is
how
no
it goes.
love. I don't hate anyone. Even
Hmm.
my best. Well, she's not my best friend anymore, but I don't even have any hate for her. I
Hmm.
understand she was afraid because she was losing me, but she didn't have to.
Mm.
She
Hmm.
thought she was. See, I think people think that there's not enough love. Like, if you love
Mm.
someone, or if you love a group of people, that you're not going to have enough love, enough love for more. And it doesn't.
Yeah.
Thank you, Willow. We love you too. It
Hmm.
doesn't work like that. There's enough for everyone. And I think she was being fueled by her fear. And, maybe we can reconnect again. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm such a different person than I was even 30 days ago. I don't know. Some
Right.
connections
Mm.
are not supposed to be. mate again. People come into your life for a certain period of time, and then new
Mhm.
people come in, like
Yeah.
Aaron. And Aaron's going to be with me forever now. So
Yay.
I feel like we as humans a lot of, well, at least I know I did for part of my life, we treat love like it's some kind of resource like dollars. You know, so if I pick up another
exactly,
friend, I don't have enough dollars. When it's really
exactly,
like the amount of love you can share is how much love you have for yourself, then you can share that with a fucking blade of grass. Like it
exactly.
literally that you can share with anything. It's not like, oh shit, I only got $20. I need to make sure I don't have more than 2 friends. Like that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
But see, what you said is 100% correct. People think there's not enough,
Mhm.
and it's scary. It's scary because there always is enough. There always will be enough because you make sure there's enough.
Mm,
And everyone has something to offer you. You have something to offer them. One statement that you make, one sentence can change someone's life forever for the better. Don't you want to be that person? Don't you want to be that person that helped someone see something through someone else's eyes, or
mm,
understand why someone else feels the way they do,
mhm,
or help shape them, or make them better in some way,
mhm,
or just let them be who they want to be. Like that's the one thing Frank says about me. Frank says, Paula, you understand who I am and you don't try to change it. And I said, no, this is it. I mean, he sleeps till 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. Okay. What are you going to do? I mean, it's just the way it is. We sometimes we're like ships passing in the night, but that's what it is. I'm not going to change. I mean, like I said, as long as you're respectful and mindful, I'm not going to change who you are because I don't want you
mhm.
to change who I am. I'm the way I am because of years of programming. I mean, you're not going to change that overnight. Let me
Yeah.
be, and I'll let you be, and then we can both be.
No, in a certain way, that's what loving someone is, anyways, is just, like appreciating what they are. Not, I mean, like if you're invested in the potential of someone and you're loving that, like that's probably a scary position in the long run.
But it is a scary position, like these women that find these men and they want to clean them up and shape them
Mm.
and change them, and they want
Yeah, it's a fucking
to.
project house or something. Like they're trying to flip a remodel or something.
Exactly. That's the person you go to sleep with every night. Why do you want to change everything about him? Then who are you going to sleep with? Do you know who the person is?
Yeah,
Are you cuddling with them, or what is going on in your mind?
yeah. Let this be a lesson, guys. If you want to change everything about your mate, that's code word for you don't like the person you're with.
It's the way like Frank jokes because I don't sweep the floor enough. I don't sweep the floor enough, but we have so many cats that you could sweep every 20 minutes and there's dirt.
Right.
So he gets mad because he doesn't like cat litter on the floor. So in the
Mhm.
where the litter box is in the bathroom, there's cat litter on the floor, and he gets so upset about it. And I'm like, Frank, just love me for who I am. I didn't sweep the floor. Like, what do you want me to do? This is not.
Yeah.
But I
You
mean,
should just get him a pair of nice like bunny slippers or something, so he doesn't have to walk on the stuff.
That's what I tell him. Put on shoes then. But I mean, that's just an example. But this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not gonna try to change everything because I
Mm.
don't want to be changed. I like who I am. I don't want someone to come in and say, well,
Mhm.
you could do this and you could do that. Yeah, I could.
In my experience, it's a dangerous game too. Like if they even start to be like, hey, like you think you could do this other way instead. Like if you go like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Then they ask for another thing, and then they ask for another thing,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, it's like, oh fuck, I'm your remodel. Like I don't want to be your remodel. Like I'm out of here.
People put conditions on that, and that's putting conditions on your love, right? Like,
Mhm.
if you
Mhm.
only did this, we could really get along, and if you only did that, I could love you more. Well, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Don't put conditions on anything, like, and especially us, like, like I don't, and Aaron knows this. I don't judge. I don't judge. You are who you are. I don't judge you. How you live your life is how you live your life. If you're asking me for my opinion, I won't give it. I'll tell you what I would do in that situation, but I don't give my opinion. If you ask me a question, I'll give you an answer, but I don't judge you. And Frankie judges me all the time, and I'm like, and he goes, but you've been judged once, and I'm like, but I'm judged all the time by you, But it's a joke, but yeah, no, I try not
Yeah.
to judge each other. Like this is it. This is who I am.
Well,
Again, be
well,
mindful and respectful, and that's it.
On the converse, I don't know, side of like, okay, so learning to, which I learned to do beautifully well, and I can say that adamantly because of the way it turned out, but also knowing how my heart changed inside of my marriage, being able to love when love's not returned, right? To find ways to honor her and meet her and discover new ways to excite her soul in some way or love her, honor her or whatever,
Hmm.
and would find those over and over again. And even just having those thought processes would change me internally, would fill me with love. So I was doing those things not begrudgingly. It's like, oh, you don't deserve this, blah, blah, blah. Like, all that shit, man, that's just poison. So it's like, if that's how you are and you can't change the mindset, get out of the relationship. But I found, I guess, ways to totally change my mindset on it and develop beautiful things inside of me. But there's always a time when like there's a balance, and that time is satiated, and it's time to move on or expand out beyond that if it's not comes in some level of balance between the two people, or equal expansion. I don't know, something like that.
I I agree. I agree. You need to give
Well,
people.
just like Paula with her stuff, oftentimes the things you need to get out of your life and dump in the trash are half the relationships that you have because you have them for the wrong fucking reason.
Dude,
You know what?
I think we've
That
all
brings
gone through times like that.
It's not
It's
easy
like,
though. It really isn't because we're attached to people for a lot. For look, we're attached to people. There are a lot of the times we don't even know why. It's
mm,
prior life experience that we're attached to these people. So it's not easy to say, you know, I don't like anything about you. I'm going to leave because we're connected on such a deeper level. Sometimes we don't know
mm,
why we're with people until we find out that they were with us in the past and we're clearing karma from the past. And it's
mm,
very hard to walk away and say, I don't want this in my life. I don't want this in my life. I mean, I was in so many terrible relationships because I was too scared to say I don't want this in my life,
I
or
can relate to that.
yeah. Yeah, or depending on what age you are, when you're in your 20s, you feel one way. When you're in 30s, you feel another way. When you're a teenager, you feel one way. You know, I- we think we know what we need because of what other people tell us, or we compare
mm,
ourselves to other people and what they're doing in
Mm.
their relationships. And it shouldn't be that way, but you don't know that until you get older. And it's sad and unfortunate because you have to make all of those mistakes to learn what you don't know you should stay away from. And it's scary.
It definitely is scary when you're going through it, but I think that if people were to actually embrace the fact of the blessing on the other side of those difficult situations, things would go a lot smoother.
Oh, I think
You
so.
know, it's there's there's one part of me that's always like, you have to put into practice all of these things that you preach, and it's like I had two failed marriages and stepkids and abuse on all different levels. And I kind of stuck out a little bit too long in most of those situations because of, whatever various reasons. And when you look at it and you break it down after the fact, you can look and see, well, I was that person that could love them unconditionally while they were going through this. And, I didn't deserve the way that I was treated. But ultimately, like, if I had owned up to my traumas and the things that I was dealing with inside of myself, I probably wouldn't have had to deal with those things. So ultimately, they are my greatest teachers, my ultimate blessings, and the greatest gift givers of my life because they give me my power back.
I have to agree with that. I have to agree with that. And I'm glad you came to that conclusion because I was in relationships too, abusive relationships.
Hmm.
And I wasn't your I knew better.
Hmm.
There's nothing else to say. I knew better, and I did it anyway.
Yeah.
I thought I was loving unconditionally, and I thought
Hmm.
if I did, I would be loved back unconditionally. And it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
But those
It-
experiences shaped who I am,
mhm.
and they made me stronger because I know what I cannot tolerate. And if it weren't for those situations, I don't think I'd be the person I am. I'm not saying I had to go through it to be the person I was because I knew when I should have left
Mm-mm.
too. We all know. You have
Right.
that mile marker and and then when you actually did leave and the gap is this wide but because you think if you love unconditionally enough, it will be enough.
Hmm.
and unfortunately, it isn't.
You can't love the pain out of another person. You can only hold space, and what they choose to do with that space is completely up to them. And having those gates and boundaries of, you know what, like, I'll let you in my yard to play, but you have to take responsibility for your own actions while you're in my yard. And heal your traumas and deal with your stuff. And if you can't, then I'm gonna love you from a distance, and you're gonna get out of my yard.
It's very well said. That is very well said. That is beautiful.
Yeah, relationships needs gates and fences and windows and doors. We don't need to be trapped within the construct of you have to be a certain way for a certain person. You get to love people unconditionally, and that means that the lessons that you give are truly, you don't get to pick which way they're given. You get to be all the different characters in this one avatar. You get to learn how to flow through the frequencies and be ultimately come out the better person that you need to be, not for anybody else, but for you. And I think that the gifts of relationships bring that to us. You have to have some way to ping pong your ideas and your constructs throughout the process. And to do that through magical relationships, whether it's a family member or somebody that you have a great weekend with, or somebody that, you just have good relationship with, or even just strangers that you meet in a chat, it's just a great thing to be able to know that all relationship is just truly a mirror of your relationship with yourself.
That was very well said also. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Really
Thank
beautiful.
you.
That's the real, like, that's the key to the old love, in my opinion. Like, the love you were looking for outside was inside all the time, and the reason you couldn't find it outside is because it wasn't inside, and you spent all that time looking outside, and that's why you don't fucking have any inside. So
Right.
Unfortunately, sometimes it takes a long time to figure that out. It really does. It really, really does. I mean, it's it's just a funny thing.
It is a funny thing.
And our learning your tolerance is a funny thing too, because you say I never, and you know what, never is a word that should never be used, because you don't know. You don't know. You don't know what you don't know what you're capable of until you're tested. You don't know.
So true.
So, Carla, you said magic. What's your definition of magic?
Everyday walking, waking life is magic. The 99.9% of things that we can't see is magic. It's everything around us and everything that we are.
That's a pretty solid answer.
Yeah.
I agree. I think everything's magic too. People are so silly. They're like, these miracles and what's magic. It's like magic is anything that you can't explain. It's something coming to you at the right time, hearing someone say the right words at the right time, having something just come together beautifully. And people are looking for magic in everything and not seeing it, because they're looking in the wrong places, and people are
Yeah, because they're looking outside of themselves instead of within themselves for the magic.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how do you turn on the let's ask this question. How do you turn the magic on within yourself? That's what I want to know from everybody. How do you turn that on?
I have an app for that personally. I just put in my passcode and then it's on.
Magic commences out of fingertips. Activate phase 1.
Yeah, I don't want to use up all my magic, so I got it on like a timer, so it's not using it while I'm asleep and stuff. You know what I mean?
That was
right.
I mean, you say, how do we activate the magic, and that kind of ties right in with this question here, talking about incantations, which is functionally just like a spoken or written spell. And very much so, I think a lot of how we do activate that magic is with the way that we talk about our experience, or talk about ourselves, or talk to ourselves inside of our own head, or really anything like that. And for me personally, and I'd love to hear your guys' take on it, I really think that, like, everything we ever say, including thoughts that get put into words, are functionally a spell that we're casting on our reality. How do you feel about
100%.
that?
100%. Waves into matter is the mandala that I passed through in Idaho to get to here. So literally every thought, every action, every frequency that you emit with your emotions and everything that you are immediately comes back to you, or it'll come back to you in some way, shape, or form. So I went somewhere and I got off track. So give me a second. I hit one of those rabbit trails.
Mm.
Oh
Waves into matter.
Yeah,
yeah.
Mandala waves into
Words
matter.
being ways we talk to ourselves, and words being curses
Yes.
or
So
spells.
the way that I figured out the connection of how to turn on the magic, right? How to turn on my DNA to be able
Mm.
to see where I'm at is I did mirror work. Going to the mirror and saying to myself and to my little self, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And from that is where I figured out where I was actually at. If I could do that and I can envision seeing the little self of me and being able to go up to her and hug her and see her smiling and laughing and giggling, I knew I was in a good space. If I go in there and she's mad and she's pissed off and she's crying and she's off in a corner, I know I got some work to do. And then the more that I talk to my DNA, I talk to my cells, I talk to my past self, I'm able to parent my inner child in the ways that I needed. My cellular DNA changed. You know, I started talking into my water and telling it how much I appreciated. I talked to my food. I talked to my dog. I talked to the trees. Like I talk to everything and tell them how much I love them. And if I can't use my words, I use my frequency, and it is very palatable. You know, and I hope that Katie and Raymond are still in the chat. But they are an instrumental part of my life, and I just want to give a shout out to them if they are still watching. And I have a little shield over their house right now because they just moved into a brand new house. So I want to bless them real quick on air. And then I want to hear what other people have to say about that. Like how do they do that?
I think I handled it the same way. I mean, I've activated it a long time ago because I say it so and I believe it. So it's basically like
Mm-hmm.
spell casting, you know, and I do the same thing. I bless the food, I bless the water,
Mm-hmm.
I talk to everything. I talk to myself. Self-love is very important. Definitely didn't give myself enough of that the first half of my life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but in being with, and again, I don't mean to talk about relationships, but in being in this friendship with Frank was not a very trusting person when we met, and Frank was betrayed a lot, and I could see why. People definitely took uh advantage of his kindness, and
Mm.
so he didn't trust me for probably the first 2 years. And you know, Aaron, you've heard a little bit more of this, but like didn't trust me
Mm.
with anything. So for me, I had to be even more on my magic game because now
Mm.
I had to show through example what you can do if you just believe you can do it. And, you know, like and not have to prove it to somebody, but actually lead by example and show, you know,
Mm.
this is what I started with, and this was my thought, and this is where we are now. And everything got accomplished. And, you know, I get a monthly benefit, and my bills are this month, this much a month. And, you know, I got hit with three curveballs and I managed to get through it. It's not the money. The money doesn't change. The situation doesn't change. The circumstances don't change. It's the way you think and the way you look at them that changes.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think
Mm.
because I don't want to keep saying, you know, I do say a lot to friends, just trust me, just trust me. And, you know, you can't tell someone to trust you if they have an issue with trust. So you have to
Mm.
show through example or lead through example. And then
Mm-hmm.
hopefully through the examples or through watching the outcome, you know, they'll say, wow, that worked for her. Maybe it'll work for me. And it took about probably 2 years, and then he started sciencing it and he started trying things. And then he saw, you know, it worked here and it worked there and it worked over here. Okay, so now let's apply it to something a little bigger, you know, like manifest a
Mm.
cup of coffee, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
then manifest something bigger, you know, and
Mm.
put your belief into something a little bigger and put your
Mm.
understanding into something a little bigger and then see what happens. So it was a lot of it was a lot of leading by example, or trying to show through example. Because how do you get anyone to believe you? You can't say trust me. Who are you? I don't you don't know me, and I don't know you. Why would you trust me? So, I can only tell you a story, and I can only tell you what works for me. I can't say to do it because I don't know if it'll work for I'm sure it'll work for you, but you don't trust me. You don't know me. So I can't say trust me. I can only say this is what I've done and it's worked for me. Try it.
Mm.
But I think it's magic. I think every day is I think I wake up every morning and it's magic. I wake up, I get to hear the birds chirp, I get to see the sun. That's magic right there. And then my day, even if it's raining, I'm good. I have life all around me, so I'm good. It doesn't. I don't. It doesn't take much to make me happy anyway. But it
Mm.
it's. I don't know. There's magic. There's magic everywhere. You just gotta tap into it. I think it's everywhere. I think it's everywhere and in everything. But
Yep.
people laugh at me. They think I'm silly. So, but that's how I feel.
I think you're awesome. That's amazing.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
We're all riding the short bus together, ladies and gentlemen.
It is. It's Frank and I call it. I don't know if you've ever saw the cartoon Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. That's
Mm.
that's what this is like. He's a kid and he's got imaginary friends, and they live in this home, and that's what this is. It's like it's just people think we're crazy. My family still thinks I'm crazy because I quit my
Mm-hmm.
job.
Mm.
They still don't understand the fact that I quit my job for it's 3 years ago.
Yeah.
They still don't get it. They
Yeah.
really still
Well,
don't get it. But
all it would take is them. Have they come over to your house? Because how could they come spend the afternoon with you and not see how happy you are?
don't want to hear it. They don't
Yeah.
see it. They think the cats are ridiculous. They think the fact that we meet everybody, and I mean, I can't even explain it. I can't even. I mean, my sister's down. My sister gets it, but the rest
Mm.
of my family, they think
That's cool.
they really think I'm crazy. Frank's mom thinks we're crazy sometimes. She calls it the fun house because she thinks because we don't have children that we don't have
Yeah.
responsibilities. And she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's the fun house." Like she runs here to escape when she wants to get away. Well, not now 'cause we're quarantine, but she runs here. I'm going to Frankie and Paula's. I'm going to the fun house.
How
She's
was
energy.
how is that? Because she's done ayahuasca at least once, right? With Frank and you guys
Twice. She did it twice.
twice.
Yeah.
How is that, or how's she been since then?
She needs to drink again, I think. We had a rough year, with Viola and Pop not being well. She definitely needs to drink again, but she's got a little too much responsibility now. But she drank the first time with Frank, and then when she retired, she came here and drank. And she'll say, I was walking to the supermarket this morning and Aya was sitting on my chest, or I was in the supermarket and I heard Aya. She's wonderful. It definitely changed her life. It definitely softened her, and it definitely made her relationship with her son stronger, because I thought she was the coolest just because she drank. Frank had been making the Aya and drinking it, and she wanted to know what he was into. She wanted to know what was going on. And she took an interest and she drank, and I just respected her for doing that. But
Yeah.
she was changed, forever changed after it. Definitely a lot more mellowed, definitely a lot more accepting, definitely a lot more
Mm.
understanding, and chill, and just she found ease. She found an ease within herself. Definitely. I wish everyone's mother would drink. It would just make things so much easier. It really,
Dude, no doubt.
because he tells her, like, when she gets out of control, she's like, Diane, it's time for you to drink again. And she's like, I can't drink all the time. So we're gonna have to figure it out. Because when
Well,
he
he's
firm with her, he calls her Diane. He doesn't call her mom, he calls her Diane. And he's like, we have to drink again. And she's like, I can't do it.
okay, Paula. We were talking about ideas for Frank doing a segment on the show, right? Sometime during the day, like once a week or whatever he does. Like, Okay, what do you think about this? I'm just thinking about this now. I threw some ideas out with Frank. If he did like maybe well, let's see. If he did like a half hour segment or something during the week or an hour segment and he just does whatever he does, even if he's at his grandparents or he's there, he's out meditating or stretching, and then he's maybe in there and you guys are cooking food or he's cooking his food for his grandparents, he can just do commentary. It's like you literally get to be around him. He can just talk out loud and do commentary.
That's my whole life. He does commentary. He does commentary on a show. So yeah, we could totally do that. We could totally do that.
Okay, Paula, here. Let me pitch you because, like, what is it in My Big Fat Greek Wedding? That's like the man may be the head, but the woman is the neck that turns the head any direction that he wants, right? So, like, all right. So if you're down for it, and I think if Frank's down, obviously it's kind of funny. We can always try this out. It's funny. I'm dead serious. Like he did something every day, like noontime stretching with Frank or yoga or noontime reality in the Bronx or some shit, man. And he just whatever is on his mind, whatever he's doing at that moment. He can set his phone up in the kitchen and like have it set up as he's watching him cook food for his parents, and he's just sitting there talking about what he's doing while he's cooking food
for his mother. Okay, please. 5 years. 5 years. Okay. So
then you could be on the show as you're cooking, just talking about whatever you want to talk about. It'd just be like real life interaction.
There's not enough real life interaction.
No, I meant with the whole world, Paula.
No, but when he does his meditations and stuff, like it's so fun when he does his meditations. People really do love it. I don't know. Yeah, no, I'll definitely talk to him. He Pop's health aide got the coronavirus, and she couldn't.
Oh.
She still hasn't come to the house yet. It's been 2 months now. And
wow.
So that's when we started coming over, and then his mother got sick. So we were coming over. He was sleeping there. He slept there for 3 weeks in a row, and then I was going there in the mornings and cooking, making soup for her and cooking for Pop and giving Pop his medicine, and then that dwindled down, and now he's got her down to 2 days a week where he sleeps over 2 days a week. He helped with the gardening and everything, and I've never cooked so many meals. It was like every day, and I'm like, Frank, really with the cooking? And he goes, well, and and the joke is, you're making Pop sick. I'm not making Pop sick. He's eating too much. I can't take the fork out of his mouth because he likes my cooking, And then his mother says, wow, Paula really does like to cook. She is very domestic. He goes, for 5 years, she's been cooking for 5 years. But, I've been cooking so much recently because they were all sick. And now it's like, I just want to eat a salami sandwich by myself.
No doubt.
I don't even have a plate. I just want to eat a cracker, and go to bed. But no, I could definitely talk to him about that because he can give commentary on anything.
Okay, and think for you too, Paula, like some kind of show or something you'd like to do, or if you're it's like Angela's going to do the women's work or right working women I don't know whatever I'm not sure off the top of my head. She's doing her show for like women, right? She's doing like a 2-hour live read kind of session with whoever calls in or someone's on the show, and then they kind of go through her life or their life story, and then she kind of shamanically heals them as they go through the story or works through processes or different things. So like she's going to do that every week. So if there's something you want to get on or get a group of people together that have similar interests and talk about cats, or you can help cats and help feeding cats and getting trained on all the city stuff that you and Frank got specially trained for. Like, I don't know, things, Paula.
I could think about it. All
right.
Everyone can watch.
Because the space,
yeah,
the space is yours, whatever you want. However you want to spread Paula love to the world.
No, I'll talk to him about that. We can definitely do it. He can do commentary on anything.
Awesome. I know it.
That'll be fun.
Cool. How are you liking doing this thing by yourself? No Frank. You're there on the mic. You're controlling your reality.
I get to finish a sentence. I get to finish a sentence, and my whole head is on camera because
you're not.
No, I
nice.
He definitely was made because he was a singer, and it's funny because the universe really didn't want us to find each other because he was a rapper and I hate that music. I don't hate that music. That's not the music I listen to, and he was giving me shit in the beginning. I told you we used to fight all the time in the beginning, and I was watching Game of Thrones at the time, and he goes, "I hate that show. Fuck that show." And I was like, "What you say that about Game of Thrones? Like, And then I got so offended because it was my favorite show at the time, and I was like, I have to tell you something. I hate your music. And he didn't want to talk to me for like I was like, it's really not my music. And he was, because he's, like, he's the self-proclaimed rock star. Aaron will tell you. And, like, Frank and I went into a bar to listen to his friend's band play. He walks in first, and I walked in like, it had to be like 30 seconds after. I must have said hello to someone. And when I walked into the bar, all the women turned their heads, and over their heads, you could see, pick me, choose me, love me. This is why he is who he is, because he is that. Women are drawn to him. There was a lady in the supermarket, and he's going to laugh. If he's listening to this after, he's gonna laugh, because there was a lady in the supermarket we go to. She loved him, to the point where she would follow him around the supermarket. And it's just the local supermarket right here, right? And I used to joke with him about it, and I'd say, make sure you're wearing jeans, make sure you have underwear, because sometimes he leaves the house, he doesn't have boxes on. I'm like, please, this lady at the supermarket, she's gonna steal you, she's gonna take you. So, I mean, women just hit on him, like, it's like really thrown at him, and I understand why he has that attitude. And here I am, I'm like, hey, I get it thrown at me too. I don't need you, And his mother ended up coming with us to the supermarket once, our supermarket, which she never does, but one day, and she said to me, "What is this girl's problem?" I said, "It's every time we go to the supermarket, this lady follows me from aisle to aisle. She'll actually get off the cash register to go put groceries away, and she'll follow him aisle to aisle." And she said to me, we're online, she goes, "I'm going to punch this girl in the face." I was like, "You don't have to. Frank doesn't even realize it's happening. Like, he doesn't even realize." She says, "I'm going to punch this girl in the face." She does it every time. I said, every time. Every time. And the last time, she knew she was getting fired for something. There was a whole drama thing at the supermarket. And I was online, and he was on the other side of the cart. And she purposely went around the register and made sure she said hello to him, because I think she knew she wasn't going to see him again. So it's like that everywhere we go. And
the stalker wanted her last goodbye. That's sweet.
It really is. And it's like, for me, it's like, yeah, I know you, like I tell him, who's gonna save you when you're having an out of body experience and you got to be pulled back in? Okay, they're not doing it.
Yeah.
Who's removing a demon from your asshole? They're not doing it. That happened in my last experiences. Okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
That's Paula Milo. She's doing it.
He passed out one day. His mother dropped us off from the gym, and he must have had low blood sugar or something. He wasn't feeling good, so she drops us off. He stands up and he passes out, and I get him. Now, I'm tiny. I get him like a fireman. Now he's in back of me. He literally passes out in front of me. So I get him on my back, right? And I get him to the front door, which is like 30 feet. Okay. I lean him up against the wall of the house. I unlock the door, and I fireman carry him into the house. And everyone's like, "How did you do that?" And I was like, "It has to be love, because he weighs twice as much as me." And I'm not.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Paula can lift a gorilla. It has been done before.
Yes.
He would attest. He is very advanced.
And it's love, because I don't know how I do it. Yeah. So I always.
Okay, Paula, we have a very important question. Paula, we have a very important question here. Someone said, "Wait, that you can remove demons from your asshole?" I think you're gonna need to elaborate.
Oh, never mind. Okay. So, after I met Frank and we had a couple of Aya experiences together, I realized that I had an ability to remove entities from people, especially from him. I don't know. I didn't know I could do this, but it works. People that have come to us for Aya experiences can attest to this because it works. So in the beginning, Frank had this knowledge about Aya and he wanted to share it with the world, and I wanted to share it with the world. Literally, if he could have had an ayahuasca lemonade stand and just given it away for free to people, he would have, because that's how much he believed in this process and how it works. And
Yeah.
no one cared. No one cared. And I was
Mm.
like, Frank, you're ahead of your time. Aya is not that mainstream. Once you hear about it in mainstream media and on television, then people are more comfortable with the idea. You just have to, again, you just have to trust me. You're ahead of
Mhm.
it. So you're too ahead of it now. You have to wait. And he got very frustrated for a very long time because he felt like he had the answers to the universe and no one cared. And I understood how frustrated he was because I drank Aya and I understood what it did for me. It unlocked probably centuries of karma, um, old contracts. I mean, it just goes on forever. So
Mm.
we started a small circle of people that were interested in Aya, and we were holding sessions in the house, which we no longer do because we realized that that wasn't a very healthy thing to do. So we ended up holding sessions in the house. Now, I was working at the time still. So a lot of these sessions were held when I wasn't here, and then he'd clear the space and I'd help him clear the space, so this way, we wouldn't have anything lingering in the house. So on this one particular afternoon or evening, he has a friend over and she brings a friend. He's
Mm.
very nice man from Bangladesh. I'm not going to get into any names or anything.
Mm.
And they're having an experience and he has an attachment. And Frank and his other friend, the girl that brought him there, they're both trying to shaman him and get this attachment removed from this man.
Mhm.
And it's not working. So now he's panicking. So now I come home. He sees me from outside and he runs outside. Now he's thinking that I'm going to freak out because these people are having experience in the house. Now, I would never do that. I would
Mm.
never make him feel uncomfortable for anything that was happening in the house, or wouldn't even say anything, wouldn't even address it until till no one was
Yeah.
there. So he goes outside and he says, "We're having a problem. This man has an attachment. We need your help." So I said, okay. I had groceries in my hands. So I come in, I put the groceries down, I wash my hands, and I say, "Hi, my name is Paula. I know we haven't met, but you have an attachment, and I need to put my hands under your asshole to help to help you remove this attachment." He goes, "Do whatever you have to do." So now he's like on all fours and he's holding hands. Basically, I'm cupping him under, like basically cupping his balls through his jeans. And
Yeah.
we're trying, the three of us are trying to remove this entity. And I finally get it removed. And then the
Yeah.
person makes a deal with it. So the attachment never broke. So I remove the
Mhm.
attachment. The person makes a deal with it. The attachment's waiting outside the door because we could see it waiting outside the door. Now,
Yeah.
whether you choose, look, I don't know who's listening, whether you choose to believe me or not, I don't care. This is what happened. And Aaron knows this is how I am. I
Mhm.
don't judge you. I don't want to be judged. You want to ask a question, you can ask me anything you want. Don't judge me. And, if you don't believe me, that's fine. Just take it as an interesting story or a funny story. And anyone that knows me knows I tell a story about myself, even if it portrays me in a derogatory light, because it's a funny story.
Mhm.
But this was the
Mhm.
funniest thing that ever happened to me. The funniest thing and the most serious thing that ever happened
Yeah.
since I met
No
him.
doubt.
So I wash my hands. I say, "Hi, my name's Paula. We don't know each other. I'm going to put my hands by your asshole. Just trust me." I tell this poor guy, "Just trust me. I'm going to get this thing out of you." And I get it out. He makes an agreement with him. He makes a contract with him, and the thing is waiting outside. But I did remove it. I did remove it. And
Yeah.
I've removed stuff,
Yes.
Frank. You've seen that. You've seen that happen.
Mhm.
So, but
And
yeah,
Frank was in the chat earlier. He's like, "Oh, you're talking about me again, huh?"
there's no life without Frank. Please, please. There's no. He's been at his mom's house, so it's like we're dating again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen each other. Yeah, I am talking about you, Frankie. But it's great because he got to sleep home last night. No, he's going to sleep home tonight. He slept out. He slept at his mom's the last 2 nights. But tonight he gets to sleep home. So we actually get to sleep
Mm,
in the same bed for about 2 hours tonight
nice.
because that's all we get
Yay.
with the
Well,
cats.
it's better than nothing.
We only get
And
to
the
like
cats.
nap together for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm very excited. So I get to see him tonight. I
Yeah,
love
and I'm so
around you, Paul. Samantha, I don't know you. I love you, but if you want to do Aya, we can do Aya. We can definitely do Aya. You can talk to Frank. You got to follow all the rule. You gotta do the diet and everything. But we can definitely do Aya together.
I'm
there you
down
go. You
too.
have it right there.
No, we can definitely.
Yeah.
Aaron knows. Like
Hmm.
I have not. I have not done Aya as many times as Frank. It kicks my ass. She kicks my ass every time. But after the experience is over, you are forever changed. I was forever changed. I mean, some of the I experiences I have, I still haven't connected all the dots. There was one I experienced that I had about it's 5 years now. It's 5 years now.
Mm,
There was one little piece of that experience that I just put together a couple of months ago because I hit a
Mm,
checkpoint. Something happened and it triggered that experience and I know what that meant now. So, yeah,
mm,
it's you're forever changed. You know, you have one
mm,
session and you're forever changed and it solves lifetimes and lifetimes of issues. It really does. It closes things. It releases you from contracts. It can help you on a cellular level repair um, and heal. It's just a beautiful experience. It's a messy, terrible experience, but it's beautiful.
mm.
But yeah, like I said, if you don't believe me, that's okay too. And if you want to ask a question, that's okay too. I'm going to give you the honest answer. Whether you choose to believe it, that's on you. But you can take it as a good story.
It's a very good story, and I believe it because it's your truth, and it's truth that resonates with mine. And I've been there, and I know you, and I know your life, and I know the example that you are to those around you just by being you.
Oh,
All these things
mm,
make sense. It's your ways of experiencing reality and your perceptions, and if you get into actual science and all the other stuff, like the other energetic overlays, that it's all true. It's not that hard. It's not that big of a stretch. So that's part of where, like, being able to have these conversations and you to share all these other nuances and details. Like, people need to know that stuff. They need to know, like, what does it mean to be a neo shaman? What does that look like? To people, it can be scary and purging and demons. Like, okay, so there's some practical stuff and some odd stuff that happens. It's not always like that where Paula's, going around politely asking to cup some other gentleman's balls so she can remove a demon from his asshole. But sometimes, man, sometimes, and crazier, but like sometimes it's just a lot of it's just intuitive connection. But these are the stories you need to hear. Paula just ran into that situation in the moment. Everybody who's been in those situations has hundreds of, like, and this just happened, and this is how we responded. It seemed to go well, or like, hey, this barely worked, man, but here's what we tried.
but that's what we tried. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you've been here when that's happened. We tried this and it
yeah,
worked, and we tried that and we didn't like it. I mean
yeah.
that's just life.
And
You
you
mhm.
remember, it's funny. So, like, okay, during the time when when I was there with you last May, and Frank was under on Aya during one of the waves of one of the dynamics. I think he was just laying down, resting on the floor, and and you and I were talking on the couch, and it was after, I think, the tuning forks thing. So we'd gone through that, and I remember showing to you in the moment, like, that he was on it for you because you're the one who's with him. You're his partner. You're his etherical translator. You're the love of his life. You're Paula Milo, his favorite and everyone's favorite, right? You have a space that he's given you access to where he's not present with his body. And his vessel's very, very malleable energetically, physically. So in those spaces, he's given you permission not just to watch over and protect him, but to be able, there's in those moments, if you tune in, ways to heal his body, way to do energetic work on him that wouldn't have worked if he was in any way present there in his body. So it's like it's also a space for you as his partner and equal co-creator to co-create with him in those dynamics. It's a beautiful space to hold, and
Oh,
you hold it very well.
thank you. Yeah, no, it's a very you know, like I said, if you would have told me right before all of this that you're gonna remove a demon from someone's, you know, I'd be like, get out of here. You know, I'm an analyst. You know, I I
Yeah.
I write efficiency binders. Like, what are you talking about? You know, that's
Mm,
but yeah, it's you know, you have to take a lot on faith when you're going through these spiritual journeys. You know, not everything can be explained. You really do have to
mm,
take a lot on faith. We can only perceive and understand a very small percentage of what we see. You have to
Mhm.
take the rest on faith to get the whole picture, you know, and you have to give benefit. You have to give people the benefit, you know, even if they're wrong, even if you know they're wrong. Sometimes you have to let them do what they have to do. They'll deal with the
Mhm.
circumstances. You just have to be. You have to let them be.
mm.
You're funny.
You're funny, Paula. I love this conversation. I love that we have the opportunity for you to just
Thank
chat,
you for
man. Just
having
hang
me.
out and
This was
chat.
wonderful. I wanted to support you. It's just that I always fall asleep early, so I was afraid I wasn't gonna make it, uh, because these cats get me up at 4:30 in the morning. They
Yeah,
start at 4:30. Um, but I really did want to do this, and then Frank was like, "You can do it. I'll set you up," because he had to leave. He had to go back to his mom's house. I'll set you up and everything, and you know, he had to leave like 10 minutes before. He's like, "You're all
yeah.
set up," and I was like, "Okay, I'm staying up. I'm staying up. It's okay." So we travel
I'm
through space and time, but I can't stay up past 11:30. I don't understand.
and I made sure to tag you in like 3 different posts. I made a
Oh no,
special
I
little thing, just like, nope, got to be there now.
know what when Frank came home from his mom's house, because he came home, he had to shower, he did a few things, and they had to go back. He was like, you know, Aaron put it all over Facebook, so now you have to do it. And I was like, I didn't do it. Aaron will understand. And he was like, oh no, he did the promos already. And I was like, okay, Frank. Okay,
Oh my gosh, Paula, I calculated that perfectly. I would have understood for sure, but I'm like, no, no, no. Paula would go to sleep and I'd understand. It'd be fine. But if I
Frank.
splatter it all over Facebook, I do a special video just in the Fearless group. I do a
No, I
special
know.
video just in the Expand
No, I
Understanding
know.
group,
I
just for
will
Paula.
do that.
She'll do it just for me. She'll do it for sure.
I will do it. Aaron, I'll do anything for you. I cook for you. You know that.
No.
That's not a problem. But it was funny because he
Hmm.
was pushy. He was like, it's all over Facebook. You have to do it. And I was like, okay, Frank. He was like, you can.
Thanks, Paula.
No, you're welcome. I love what you're doing. I think it's great. I really do. I
Thanks.
love this. You're bringing people together, people that care. You know,
Yeah,
not people that have nothing else to do. People that want to be here, and that's a beautiful thing. That is a
yeah,
truly beautiful thing. But yes, anyone
yeah.
can come and do Aya with me as long as you.
So we gotta figure out, Paula. I mean, Frank's gonna be coming out this way soon to
Yeah,
do that, and I know that you're staying, but
yeah.
maybe something for you. You can maybe coordinate with Samantha or some girls, maybe Fearless Girls or Girls from this group or whatever, and maybe there's something Paula mentioned she would be down to do that. Maybe you guys can coordinate
Mhm.
something your own way,
No,
and some at some time.
we totally can. It's just because we have so many animals, it's not fair to make. We had to do we went for our very good friend Ellen had an eye
Hmm.
experience, and she rented a house at a remote location, which I thought was a really smart idea. And she
Hmm.
wanted us to shaman, but we could only stay overnight because of the animals. And Frank was like, "It's not even 24 hours. We were back in 21 hours, Paul. It's not even 24 hours we could leave this house. We have no children." I said, "Yes, but we have 90 cats." So,
Right.
you know, and then his mom comes over to feed them, but then it's an inconvenience for her. So I really am waiting till this just the world goes back to normal. But he is looking forward to coming out because I think that's an excellent idea. As long as he can send all of the ingredients that he needs to make the Aya, he's good.
Yep, and we've got all the equipment, and I think might be able to source all that around here from different people in the group and
Probably could.
locally. So it's just be getting our butts to work for 2 days doing the brew or so, and then we're gonna be spending a week out here though. We're gonna do a lot of fires. I'm gonna take Frank and put him around the campfire, and we're gonna be having a lot of experiences that way. And I'm I couldn't be more excited. But there's few things on this planet and on this earth in my awareness specifically than I know about that I am more excited about than that time with Frank and the other people around the fire.
I think it's a great idea. I really do think it's a great idea. And I think for him, it would be a great idea. I love it when he gets to do this because he loves it so much.
Mm,
Because, for us, it has nothing to do with anything but making connections. And,
yeah.
the fact that he gets to do something he loves, it's important to me because, he's got to, change cat litter boxes and
Right.
and throw out the garbage and go to his mother's
Yeah.
and sleep there and live there half the time and you know or do whatever
Yeah.
the hell she needs him to do. So it's nice for him to do something that he loves, like that he's in control of, not being told to do. Because between me and his mother, I mean, it's like he's 12 years old. Sometimes he never gets a say in anything, but for him to do something
Yeah.
he loves is good because he really does get to shine and he really is good at it. Like I tease him, like
Hmm.
I'll tease and I'll make it, I'll make jokes, like I come in and, make everything better, but that's just what Paula does. She makes sure the food is there and everything's clean and people are comfortable, you know. But
Yeah.
he really does shine when he's in those situations. You've seen him. It's like that's his
Hmm.
like this whole coronavirus thing. We've been talking about this for 5 years, 4 years
Yep.
on air that an event like this was going to take place and what to do to prepare for it. So when it was going down, I was like, this was Frank's chance to shine because this is what he's been talking about. This is go time,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
so this is really putting a damper on things because we were supposed to have an experience. Two ladies from your stuff from the West Coast were
Right.
supposed to come in, but
Yeah. Yeah.
got everything got all jammed up. So I can't wait till he can come out because that's what he loves to do.
Yeah.
I I just cook the food. I make sure there's food. I make sure no one's hungry when they
This
leave.
is a
But
very important job. I know. We've got other people. We're making sure those roles are filled.
but
So
yeah, no,
they're very important.
right. Yeah, well, and the dishwashing is important too.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. Yeah. If you do, there was always okay. Growing up, if my mom made the food, we washed the dishes. Right. Or whoever makes the food, you wash the other people person's responsible for the dishes.
No, Frank is pretty good, but if he's doing his thing, I want to make sure everything else is covered. I just want to let him
Yeah.
do his thing,
Yeah. For sure.
and then I nag him after. I
Yeah.
what else do you want to talk about, Aaron?
Oh, I love you. Just itching for conversation. Oh, I love it. And so am I. It's great. Okay, so I was gonna say, let's see.
Because I know you want to ask me questions. I know there's questions you want to ask me because Frank's not here. So why don't you just ask
That's what I'm sifting through.
because
No, you're totally right.
you have question bubbles over your head. Like I know I know there's
So
like 3 questions you want to ask me.
oh, really? Okay. So that's all. That's all in the vortex. I've been organically trying to find those questions along the way. I've already gotten some beautiful answers. It's
Okay.
been wonderful.
I know you want
And
to
so
ask
has everybody else.
then. I could see
All
it.
right, all right, all right.
Go ahead.
Let's manifest this. Manifest this in English because I don't know the exact question. Let me see. Ooh, answer this however you want because this is great because it'll be interesting because it could be handled and however you want. So what is how do I word this?
Be
So
honest.
what is you and Frank's romantic life like that? We'll start there.
A romantic life.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm going to tell a story. So,
do it.
Aaron, our romantic life is a little complicated because there's always people around. But but Frank is
Is
my
Frank a
husband.
screamer? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
Frank is Frank makes my socks go up and down. So let's just say that Frank is my everything. So I'm going to tell a
Beautiful.
story. He's probably going to kill me. So we so Frank was sleeping in his mom. This is like it's the 4th week he's been there. So 3 weeks every day, right? So
Yeah.
we're in the house and we've been there. I go in the morning. I'm leaving after dinner because then I got to go back here, feed the cats, clean my house, whatever, right? So now this is like week 3 and he looks at me. His mom is taking a nap and Pop is on the couch watching General Hospital. So Frank knows there will be no interruptions, right?
Okay.
Do you want to fool around? So he goes, come down to the basement. Do you want to fool around real quick? So I went, oh, I don't know. Like we got like all nervous, like teenagers,
Yeah.
right? So we go to the
Yeah.
basement. He's gonna kill me for telling the story. Go to the basement, start fooling around. Now, let me preface this with Frank's mom self-quarantined. She had the coronavirus. She self-quarantined though. So I was there basically cooking food for her, taking care of her and Pop. And then Frank was sleeping there. This way, if anything happened in the middle of the night, his mom didn't have to get up because she was very sick.
Mm.
So, but I call her the Corona Ninja because she had the mask and the gloves on. And as soon as you turned around, she'd be right behind you, like watching what you're doing. And I'm like, and I would say, Jesus Christ, woman, please, every minute you're around, like, stop following me. So he says, do you want to go fool around? We'll go down to the basement. So I said, oh, okay. So we go downstairs. We start making out. We start fooling around. And the both of us are kissing and staring at the steps because now we're afraid the Corona Ninja is going to come down the steps and she's going to say, what are you doing to her? Right?
Yeah.
So now, and then everything just stopped. And I was like, Frank, I can't take the pressure. Like I can't have your mother see us having sex like that. I can't do it. And he's like, no, this is terrible. And then after we go back upstairs and we wanted to take Diane and bring her behind the pool and just kick her to death. Because not that we can do it, but because she probably wasn't going to come down, but because she's a ninja and she was sneaking up on everyone the whole 3 weeks, we were so afraid that she was, I can handle a lot of stuff, but I do not want his mother watching, ever seeing us have sex. I don't think we had sex or anything like it because I love her. She's my mother too. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, so and that was the
So basically you answered my question saying with your romantic life consists of when the grandparents and the parents are distracted, you
yeah.
try to go to the basement to fool around, but you're so concerned with this COVID-19 ninja mother, stepmother, mother-in-law that you can't fool around. Therefore, your romantic life is very frustrated. That's why I made several comments tonight about Frank having to spend all this time sleeping in a bed that's not yours.
No, because he would sneak over. He'd sneak over and he'd be like, I got a couple of hours, and then I got to go back. And I'm like, okay, let's make it count. Let's make it count, Frank. And then we'd high five, and then he'd go back to his mom. But
so what you just said, Frank will come over for a couple hours. He'd carve out for this romantic, intense interaction with you. Then you guys would high five, and he'd go back to his mom's and help out. That sounds like an awesome interaction.
You got to do what you got to do, Aaron. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's hysterical. It really is hysterical. Then one time we were fooling around and we had the windows open. We think the neighbor heard us. And
yeah.
And I didn't want to leave the house because I didn't want the neighbors to see us, like see me. Like, but no, he's
okay.
He's my everything. He really is. He's my everything. I can't.
Okay.
I can't lie.
So that implies though, in this loud coitus engagement here, that the one who's making the most noise that they're ashamed about going outside was not Frank.
Paula.
Okay.
Good for you, Paula. Let the neighborhood know you guys are happy.
You know that. I mean, I love him. He's my best friend. He's my partner in crime. Like I wake up sometimes in the middle of the night and he loves it because he doesn't go to bed till like 5 o'clock in the morning. So sometimes I'll come out, it's like 2:30 in the morning and I'm like, where's the party at? And I'm like, and then I'll come 2:30 for the rest of the night. And he's like, oh, you're staying up? You're not just going to the bathroom? You're staying up? And then we just hang out or we'll make pancakes in the night or
nice.
Like,
oh, that's sweet, Paula. Cool.
Did he send you the pictures? We pitched a tent. So now,
I
want to see.
He didn't send you the pictures of the tent?
No, he sent me a picture of the neighbor's yard he cleaned yesterday, which was awesome. I want to see the tent.
A couple weeks ago, he I thought he sent you a picture of the tent.
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I
So
missed it.
I told him a couple of weeks ago, he was ordering some stuff online. And in the beginning, before his mom got sick, this quarantine was great because it was just me and him. We had
Right, right.
we had did a Costco run, we did a supermarket run, we did a butcher run. So we had enough food for we still have food from that run. That was over a month ago. So he was ordering something online and I said, "Why don't you get a tent?" And he goes, "What do I need a tent for?" And I was like, "What do you need a tent for? Why don't you get a tent so we could smoke in it?" And oh,
That
okay.
was the reason. What a great idea, Paula. You're
So,
awesome.
yes. So, and it's so funny because I never talk about this stuff on air, but it's all right.
Yeah.
So he says,
Yep, it
"All right,
is.
I'll order a tent." He goes, because I said, we don't know how long this quarantine is going to last. Like, we got to, I don't know. I don't know. We're not going
Totally.
anywhere. Maybe we could put the tent
Yeah.
outside. Like, I don't know. Right. So he orders this tent and it's great. It's one of those tents that you could shower in. It's not a sleeping tent. It's one of those you could put in
Oh,
the
he
tent.
did show me that now. Okay, yeah. Okay.
So the tent came, and this was, I think, I don't know what week this was that he was sleeping over his mom's house. So he comes over and
Yeah.
he sleeps over. I don't even think he slept over. I don't remember. He came over for a couple of hours, and I take the tent out, and he rolls this, and I hope it's okay to talk about this. He rolls
Yeah.
a cone that is the size of um like the straw. So
Yeah.
it's like at the baseball games they used to give out the tribute bats, those little mini tribute bats that they don't give out anymore because people beat each other up with them. He
Right, right.
had a cone that was like, it was literally like 12 inches long, and it was like that. He had saved up
Yeah.
all this weed and he rolled this cone. It was gigantic. So
Yeah.
he's rolling
Was
it.
was it workable? Like, did you guys actually smoke it?
It took like 4 days to smoke.
So
And so
keep
he
going,
rolls
rolling it.
this cone. He goes, I'm rolling us something very special. So I said, okay. So now I
Hmm.
see it. It looked like a child's toy, right?
Yeah.
So I get out the tent and I was like, Frank, we're gonna get the tent out. I get out the tent. I get out one of my 130 sets of fairy lights. I go in, I get a set of fairy lights. He pitches the tent. I get pillows and blankets. We put the fairy lights inside the tent, pillows and
Yeah.
blankets. We get in the tent and we smoke this cone. I almost passed out because I couldn't breathe. It was the most fun. I haven't gotten in a tent since I was a kid. Okay, and we had the tent pitched in the living room. We moved all the furniture.
Awesome.
We have the
I
tent
want to
pitched in the living
play
room with pillows and blankets. Oh, next time you come, we'll
next.
take out the tent.
So
Awesome.
awesome.
Isn't that awesome? I've never done that like with someone that was mine, like, not like like
Oh.
just to have fun with someone who's mine, and
Yeah.
it's like, people don't understand, like, everyone wants to know about our relationship, and the relationship, we're friends. Like, everything else is a bonus, but he's my friend.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it
Mhm.
started, and I hope that's how it always like, I hope that's how it ends. Like, we're friends. So, like, we do all this stupid shit together, like pancakes night or like pitching a tent. And then my sister is quarantined home with her 2 kids, so she's ready to kill herself. Like, I text her
Hmm.
every day, like, "Did you eat one of your children yet?" She's not yet, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of crying over there and a lot of screaming over there, and I'm like, "Rose, I feel really bad because, I'm sitting in a tent smoking a 12-inch cone."
You should
You know,
feel awesome that your life is so much better than yours at this moment in time.
I didn't wanna
Like,
say
this
that
should
to
feel
her.
amazing.
I said, "I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry." And then I said,
That's one of those phone calls where you're like, I'm really sorry. You're trying not to laugh because as you put down the phone because you're high as fuck from being in your tent with your man
"You don't even
smoking a child toy sized blunt.
you don't even know that." And, Aaron, I look, I smoked weed my life, like, if someone had it, I smoked it. I was not a weed smoker. When I worked
Yeah.
for corporate, I was not a weed smoker because I had to be drug tested. And then he opened me up to this whole new world, and I completely embraced it. I'm rolling my own cones now, like, well, out of necessity because he's not here. Because when he's
Yeah. Well, you made some when you were there too. They're great. You did. It was
oh,
awesome.
and they're getting better, and because I
I
can't use
bet.
my right hand. I have cerebral palsy.
Right.
I can only use my left hand, so I had to get creative. And he wasn't here, and I tried it and it worked, and he was so proud of me. So now it's
Mm.
now he feels that I could be left alone because I could take care of myself.
Roll for yourself. Yeah. It's not where's the emergency food storage? Where are all these things? It's like I need you to teach me a role for myself, or you cannot ever leave me alone.
Smoke out of a bowl, and I hate doing it, but whatever. So this is my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful life. I love your life.
Oh, thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron.
I'm not like jealous. I love it. I love that you love your life. I love you and Frank. I love the
I
ways you
love
interact. I love the way you just are.
you
Yeah.
know what? I worked so hard for so long and was so miserable that
Hmm.
if these small things are things that make me happy, I want to do more of these small things. Like for me, it's not a
Mm,
lot. I've traveled, I vacationed, I did it. I did a lot. I lived a very good life. I was very good to myself. Do you know what I mean? I
yeah.
didn't want for anything. Do you know what I mean? I worked and I was
Yeah.
able to provide what I needed for myself. And this is uncharted territory for me not working, and it's very eye-opening and it's very humbling. But,
Mm,
if you look at it a different way, I'm not missing anything. I'm really not missing. I mean, you've been here, you see, I'm not missing anything.
yeah.
You
No,
know,
it's perfect.
it's just, why can't it be fun? Why can't it be fun? Why can't I laugh? Why can't I be happy every day?
Okay, so at that point, perfect time to tell them about how your life is happy and fun every day in your fairy lights.
In my fairy lights. Oh, do you want me to start with how it began?
Yes,
Sure.
please.
That's what came to mind,
Um,
apparently. Yeah.
yeah. So it actually my transition into fairy life and my gypsy nomadic life, my magical existence had to start with my last relationship. I finally had enough of narcissistic bullshit and really not owning my own power and standing up for myself. And for 18 years, I wanted to live in an RV. I wanted to be a nomad. I wanted to be a gypsy so bad. Um, but I also really, really, really wanted to make my relationships work.
Mm,
And I didn't know how to merge the two, and I didn't know how to live with myself, and I didn't know how to deal with my traumas. So finally, after lots and lots and lots of soul work and a lot of understanding and understanding that, I get to create what I want once I take my power back. And it was 7 months ago, I decided to go on my first spiritual retreat. And at that point, I had kicked my boyfriend out, moved all his stuff back to Mississippi, and wrote him a letter of why he couldn't come back and all of the stipulations because he told me no, that he wasn't going to leave. And that didn't turn out well for him. So in that process, I I did go on the spiritual retreat and found the space that I have always considered my home space. It was the space that I always saw in my head when I would go to meditations. And the best way I could describe it was like when I decided to come to this planet as a creator, that was the spot that I landed. And I was like, I'm going to look around a little bit. And everything from there fractaled from that first speck or whatever. Um, and so when I got back from Yellowstone, I sold my condo, bought my RV, and jumped full force into learning what it would be like to sell or get rid of literally everything I owned
Wow.
and live from a little box. And it has been the most liberating, wonderful thing I've ever done for myself because I've learned who I am, what I'm here to do, how I'm supposed to serve. And I just allow at this point. I quit traditional work for other people about I think about 6 months ago. I've been completely detached from work from other people, and the more that I just allow and trust, the more that the people that are supposed to come do, and I hear them with my heart. And it's a beautiful experience because I allow that that calling, if you will, to guide me to the people that need me the most and the people that aren't going to drain me. And I know how to protect myself now, so that's even better. But it was through those particular relationships that I had to learn that. And so now, um, I have gone coast to coast twice. Um, I have met some of the most incredible people of my life, and I live in a magical little ferry bus. It's
That's
amazing.
amazing. That is amazing and beautiful. That is amazing. Good for
Thank
you.
you.
That is
Yes. And I want to teach other people how to do that. Like, if you want to live a particular life, just do it. You just trust, and it's going to be fine. You
that's what
wouldn't want to do it.
I silenced all the noise in my head. I pushed everyone's opinion out,
Hmm.
and I said, "No, I don't want to live that way anymore. I just want to be."
No.
Beautiful. Good
Uh,
for you. Good for
Thank
you.
you.
So
Yeah, it's
so you're in a fairy bus. You're in a magical
I
fairy
am.
bus. That's
I am. Every time I go over different ley lines or at different areas or whatever, I just imagine wings coming off of my RV and spreading unconditional love into these areas that feel dense or dark or heavy or whatever, because it can't exist where I am. So every time I pass through these places, I just imagine the wings coming off of my RV, just go and
that.
it's just
Beautiful.
sending all of this beautiful iridescent light to the
Beautiful.
earth and to all the people. And it just brings me happiness.
That is truly beautiful. That is truly beautiful.
Mm.
That's why you're
So,
glowing. That's why you're
yeah.
because as soon as you came on, there you have a hue around you. You're glowing.
Mm, thank you. Yes.
You are beautiful. Good for you.
Thank you very much. It's
That
it's
that's
it's a wonderful life that we live. It's how you tap into it. Um, and every person that's either here in this chat, that will be in this chat, that has ever been on this earth has this magic inside of them, and it's turning it on and figuring out how to use the 3D skin suit. It's technology that we're in. We're spirit here to have a human experience, and that human experience is moving through dense energies.
yep. You're right. You're so right. And I think it's wonderful that you're living the life you want to live. So coast
Hmm.
to
Thank.
coast twice in
Hmm.
7 months.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. Where are you off to next?
I think I'm going down to California, but we will see. I know I have a couple of stops planned. I don't know. Every time I try to make plans, Paula, I can tell you right now, every time I try to make plans, it never works out. So I just go, you know what? Take me where I'm supposed to go,
That's right. Well, the universe is
because
doing that.
yeah, I mean, I can try so hard to be like, I'm going to be over on the West Coast by this time, or I'm going to be on the East Coast. But no, I'm there exactly when I'm supposed to be. And you know what lines up even better is, as I go on these trips, it's absolutely beautiful the way it works out. Because I find people that need blessings, so it's like, they're in a difficult spot, they're struggling through whatever, and I'm able to hold a space for them
Mhm.
to release. And then as soon as I disappear from their space, it just opens up and they're able to receive the blessings that they're looking for. But it
That's
was just because
beautiful.
they had that moment without the pain, without the turmoil, without that demon, or however you want to call it, that entity or attachment, because they can't be there when I'm there. So they're able to fully
That's
express
right.
themselves. They're able to release whatever it is that's holding them back. And then when they pull it back in, they pull in my light. And when they pull in my light, it's almost like they're taking nourishment from my soul, right? They're taking a little piece of me.
Yes.
And when that happens, it's absolutely beautiful, because once it integrates, they literally are blessed with the life they've always wanted.
Yes. And the fact that you're aware that that's what you're doing is a beautiful thing. And give yourself
Hmm.
credit for that. Don't
I
downplay it.
absolutely.
Give yourself credit for that because that's healing. That's healing.
Hmm.
You're giving people healing. And you can't put a price on that. You can't put a
Mm-mm.
price on peace of mind. You're giving people peace of mind.
No.
That's beautiful.
And I've struggled a little bit over this past 7 months on trying to figure out, like, how do I create from this place. I never wanted to charge people for blessings. I never wanted to be in a place where, I either sacrifice myself or I had to put other people out. So anytime that I'm actually in somebody's space, I will not charge. I absolutely refuse to charge. However, if you feel that you need to bless me in some way, whether it's with power, with food, with your time, with your experiences, with whatever it is that your unique gift is, that's what I take as payment. And I'm never let down, and I'm always provided for. And it always puts me in a very humbling place to where, you know what, I can trust a little bit more
That's
every day.
beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's what we try to do. We try
Hmm.
not to make it about, like with the eye, we try not to make it about money. We ask for a donation as
Mm-mm.
well. Well,
Yeah,
only because he has to procure the products and make the tea. But
absolutely.
it's not about the money, because you can do so much with nothing, and people
Hmm.
need to understand that. You have your mind and you have your heart open, you can do anything. Money
Right.
comes. Money always comes when it needs to come. And that's one thing I've learned. And if I believe that and I let that resonate with me, then I'll never be in need of anything. And that's what's happening with
Exactly.
you. You'll never be in need of anything, because it
No,
comes when it
I
needs.
never want. I never want and I never need, because I have everything and anything that I could ever want right within inside of me. Um, and anything that goes above that, I want to be able to give to somebody else. I can bless another person in whatever way that looks like.
That is beautiful.
If you need gas money, I got you, boo. If you need a dinner, let's
That's
go have
right.
some dinner.
That's
You
right.
want to
That's
you
how
want to
I
smoke a bowl? Let's do that too. Like,
but
let's
that's
get
how I
down.
feel, and I love that about you. That's beautiful, though, and that's what, like, people are like, "Oh, Paula, come on, it's not all hopes and wishes," and it's like, but it is. You
But
intend
it is.
the life you wanna live, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
money is not the answer to everything, but it comes when it needs to come. It
Right.
shouldn't even it's not even the money. The circumstances come when they're supposed to come. Life
Mm-hmm.
life is meeting people and having like you said, having these beautiful experiences with people, holding space for people, helping lift the burden off of someone else, because it's very easy for you to do, and it would take them a
Mm-hmm.
lifetime to figure out how to do.
Absolutely. And when you can lift it, even if it's just for a day or a weekend, once you can lift that burden for that person, they can feel what it is to go back to neutral.
Yes.
They can go back to their original signature, joy, happiness. That's what you're supposed to feel in this life. It's not supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be, super difficult. Those times do come and they
Yeah.
are a part of our experience, but we don't live there. We're
No.
supposed to live in this happiness and joy. So, if you're looking at this and you're going, what the, this lady talking about, like, you happy all the time. It's a choice.
It
It is
is
a
a
pure
choice.
choice.
It is a choice, and I say the same thing. I really do, and that's why I'm resonating with everything you're saying, and I love everything that you're saying, because it is
Hmm.
a choice. Bad things
Hmm.
happen. Bills have to get
Hmm.
paid at the end of the month. I
Yep.
remember living where I could never pay all the bills in the same month. Okay, I make less money. I
Hmm.
don't even make money anymore. I'm on a better. I earn money, and my bills are paid
Yeah.
every month. So,
Hmm.
it's the way you choose to look at your situation. You
Right.
can manifest anything, and why do you have to take what other people say so seriously about your life? They're not living your life.
Mm.
They're not paying your bills. They're not sleeping in your bed. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? They're not living your life. They only
They're not living in your temple.
Yeah,
That's the biggest thing. Like, how can somebody that's outside of you have so much control unless you allow it? And when you allow it, aren't you taking away from your own energy resources? And isn't energy money and money energy? So, like,
yeah,
what the hell are you doing?
yes.
You stay sad and down in the dumps and just like worried about your situation instead of figuring out how you can change it or how you can look at it differently or change the lens, then you're going to be stuck in a perpetual pattern of pain. Step outside the box, look at it a little differently. That abusive relationship that you're in, how much power do you have to leave? Oh, I don't have a whole lot. Guess what? Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
you have 10 seconds every day to make a brand new choice.
Yes, you
And
do.
if you don't want to live in that pain, you can make a choice and be empowered to do something different. It's just a matter of like making the choice and taking a small action, and then you will be supported.
That was so
Mm,
well said. And but it's true. You
that's true.
have an opportunity every day to change your life, even if it's just a
Hmm.
little bit. But people don't think it could be that easy. They really don't understand that it can be that easy. And that's why I
Hmm.
say, look, I'll tell a story. You choose to believe me or not, because
Hmm.
the point is not you believing me or liking me or on my side or agree with me. That's not it. It's to get the
Hmm.
story out and to say, this is what I'm trying. This is what I'm
Right.
doing, and it's working for me. I was in a
Hmm.
situation like that too. I wanted to drive my car off the Tappan Zee Bridge. It got so bad
Yep.
in my relationship, and I can't swim. So I said, if I
Mm.
drive my car, literally, if I drive my car off the bridge, I will not be
Mhm.
harassed anymore. I will not be harassed. And then on the drive home, I said, my option to get out of my relationship was to end my experience.
Mhm.
So then I changed it and I said, well, I will kill him. I will kill him. I will admit that I killed him or tried to kill him. And then I will be able to sleep because you will not be able to stalk me anymore. I will be in jail and I
Right.
will be able to sleep. And then
Mhm.
I said, that's the second best idea that you could, like, just leave. Just walk away and
Mhm.
leave and never talk again. You know,
Yeah.
no one thinks it could be that easy. Yeah, it was hard. I mean,
Mhm.
and I understand, look, when you share a life with someone and you share responsibility and you share your money with somebody else, you cannot just pick up,
Mhm.
pack a bag and walk away, because it's a lot of responsibility you're walking away from.
Right.
But it's fear also. Can I do it alone? Can I survive
Mhm.
this? Because you
Mhm.
get broken down and you think you can't do anything because you're told you can't do anything, and you start to believe that you can't do anything. And so
Mhm.
you start to live the life that somebody else wants you to live, and it's not your truth.
Right.
So the fact that you were
Right.
able to do this, and now you're living your life in your fairyland. Your twinkle light, like, I love twinkle lights because they're like little fairies to me. I have them all over
Yeah.
the apartment. I have sets and sets and sets of twinkle lights. I can never have enough because I want to stay as close to the magic as I can, because I was in the
Absolutely.
shit. I was in the pit with the lions. I don't want to be there anymore.
Mhm.
I cried every day. I was upset and hurt every day. I was
Mhm.
disrespected and ignored and overseen. I don't want that in my
Mhm.
life anymore. I'm gonna be the star in my life. I want to make it about me. And if I don't want to make it about me, that's okay too. But I want
Mhm.
to live on my terms.
Right.
That's why I think what you did was so beautiful. I
Thank you.
truly beautiful. And I know I keep saying it, but I truly mean it, because you see, I fall in love in 5 seconds. So I fall in love with everything.
Yeah, I do too.
And I love you. I don't even know you. I don't even know you.
Uh,
I don't know anything, but I know because I know where you come from, because I came from the same place, that place of despair
mhm.
and hopelessness, and
Yeah.
really believing what other people think about you. And it's a very scary thing when the thoughts in your head, when other people's thoughts are more important than the thoughts in your head, you are in
Mhm.
trouble.
You
That's
are
why I
in
say,
big
don't care
trouble.
what anyone thinks. I really don't. And I mean that with respect.
Mhm.
Don't mean
Absolutely.
I don't care what you think. I don't care what your opinion is of me, because you don't know the real me. You only know you only know what you see. Okay?
Mhm.
The version you think is me. You don't know the real me unless you've been with me for a while. I
Right.
don't want you to base an opinion on a fraction of what you see and then you think
Mm.
that's the full me.
Mhm.
So living your life, I am very happy that you're living your life, because I am living my life, and it is a crazy it's crazy, but I am happy. This man is a
Mhm.
gorilla, okay? And okay, he is my best friend, and I'm living my life, because it's not
Mhm.
the romance, and it's not the hot sex, and it's not the places you go and the dinners you
Mhm.
have. It's
Mhm.
looking over at someone and being vulnerable and feeling vulnerable, and that person saying, I got you. That
Mhm.
more to me than anything. Or I understand you.
Yeah.
Or I love you no matter what. You're an idiot, but I
Mm.
love you anyway. You're being a dummy right now. You're not listening right now. You're being impatient right now, but I love you
Mhm.
anyway. That's what means
Mhm.
something to me. Someone says, I got you, that means a
Mm.
lot because people don't. People don't.
Yep.
So when you find people that do, you hang on to
It's
those people, and he's one of them. So,
mm,
I understand. I found Frank, and
mhm.
I'm not letting him go. And I was always the woman. I don't, and I say it still to this day. I don't fight over men, and I don't
Mm-mm.
fight over money. You want him? Try
You
to
can
take
have them. Try to
the
take him.
money. Take the money. Take the money. But this one, I will fight. I will fight for him. I will fight for him till the end because he's worth fighting for.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. But never before. You want him? Take him. Please take him.
Mhm.
Okay? And keep, you know, but no, living your life on your terms, there's
Mhm.
nothing like it. It's freedom. And people don't
Mhm.
understand true freedom until their choices are taken away.
Yep.
And that's the scary part. You don't realize you're not free until all of your choices are taken away.
Mhm.
And that
It's
will never happen to me again. Never in my life
mm-mm.
will that happen to me again.
Yeah, I got stripped of everything. Everything until I fully humbled to the fact that I just needed to surrender. Just like, okay, my life has to change now.
That's what I did.
you
That's
know?
what I did. I had to. When I was
Mhm.
in a relation it was a long time ago. It's years now. Years and years now.
Mhm.
It took me so long to recover financially from that relationship because he ruined me financially. He
Mhm.
ruined me he broke me spiritually. Um he made me have a negative body image of myself. I mean, he did, and
Mhm.
I allowed that. I allowed all of it, so it's my fault. I allowed all of it to happen to me. I can't get that time back, but the time I have now, I can fully enjoy on my terms. So I
Mhm.
completely understand, and I feel like I took myself back. And
Mhm.
once you change, once you make that change and you give yourself the love that you weren't giving yourself before, you can never
Mhm.
go back to who you were before because you're not that person. I'm not even the same person I was 30 days ago. I couldn't go
Mm-mm.
back to who I was 30 days ago because I have more knowing and insight now on who I am,
Mhm.
on who the people are around me, and who
Absolutely.
needs what, and what do I need from you.
Mhm.
It's got to be an even give and take. There has to be reciprocity there. There has
Mhm.
to be, for
Mhm.
everyone to be happy. You have to feel like you're being heard and you're listening.
Mhm.
You have to feel like someone has your back. One person, if one person can believe in you, one person, you can do
Mhm.
anything in the world. Anything.
Absolutely.
And if you
Absolutely.
can't find that
And
one
and
person, you have to believe in yourself.
I was about to say, and
Oh,
sometimes that one person is just you.
you.
You have to believe in you.
It is. It is.
If somebody would have told me 5 years ago that I was going to be literally counting the dots on my ceiling for a year and trying to figure out how I was going to be able to walk again, um, I wouldn't have believed them. I wouldn't have believed that that was going to be a thing. But what that led to, Paula, I met all of my demons. They stood in front of my bed, and I talked to
Mhm.
every one of them, every single one of them. And you know what I told them?
What
I
did you
just looked at them and said, I love you. For whatever reason that you are here in my life, and for whatever reason it is that I have to learn these things, I love you for that. And they slowly started to disappear.
because
They
you yeah,
they did
gave it love.
they didn't know what to do with that. They
Right.
didn't know what to do with that. Like, I want to know who you are, what's your name, what you're here to do. And if you're not here for my greatest and highest good, get the fuck out.
Yeah, you gotta leave. You gotta leave. Thank you. You see me as
Yeah.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you for being here. Thank you for the lessons that you taught me.
Yes.
Now get the hell out.
It's time for you to go. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. But that's what you have to do. And people don't
Mhm.
realize that it's in you. It has nothing
Mhm.
to do with another person. It has to do
Oh.
with what you will allow. And to have that disharmony within you, That's, you
Mhm.
can't have one side fighting the other all the time. It's not going to work. You're not going to be able to
Mm-mm.
keep that energy up. And your energy is going to remain low because you're constantly fighting yourself. So
For
the fact
sure.
that you were aware of that and knew to confront the situation and give it love, because I really
Mhm.
feel universally there is only one feeling, and it
Mm.
was love. And
Mhm.
everything after that is gradations of love, love, fear, anger. They're all lack of love, steps away
Mhm.
from love. And that's what we do. And we like to live somewhere in the middle. Why is
Mhm.
that enough? Why was that enough from me all this time? I don't know. I still really
Mm.
don't have an answer for that. That's still something that I'd really have to go in and find out, but it doesn't matter because here I am now. Here I am now,
Exactly.
and I'm not spending any more time on that because here I am,
Mm.
and I love where I am now because I love me.
Yeah.
You know, when
Ex-
you were talking about looking in the mirror before, because I was
Mhm.
listening to every word you said. That's how I started also because I couldn't look at
Mhm.
myself in the mirror.
Nope.
I couldn't. I could only look from the nose down. And
Mhm.
every morning, brushing my teeth, I forced myself to look in the mirror and say, I love you. And I couldn't say it
Mm.
in the beginning. And I certainly
Right.
couldn't say it out loud. I would say,
Right.
couldn't say it out loud. Now I'm like, oh, you're so cute. You're beautiful. I love you. Mwah.
Right.
I mean, that didn't happen in the beginning. Couldn't look at myself. Couldn't look at
No.
myself for more than a second in my,
No. Oh.
forget about it. Couldn't look at myself in my eyes.
Mhm.
If I would catch
Mhm.
myself, I would look away because I didn't like who I became. I didn't like who
Mhm.
others made me become because I allowed that.
Mhm.
Because
Yep.
you can't blame everyone for everything because it's you. It's what
Mhm.
you allow. You set the
Right.
tone when you're with anyone in a relationship, anyone you meet on this, you set the tone for how you're to be treated. And I didn't realize
Mhm.
that I could have boundaries. I didn't realize that. So I thought, oh, well, if you put boundaries on things, I didn't realize that people were walking all over me because I did not set
Mm.
boundaries, clear boundaries, because I thought
Mm.
that was unspoken. I didn't
Mm.
realize you had to say that out loud to someone.
Right.
Respect my boundary. Respect me. Don't do things
Right.
that make me feel uncomfortable.
Mm.
And even
Mhm.
after they were done, I couldn't say it
Mm-mm.
wouldn't come out of my mouth.
Nope.
Talking about my relationship, I couldn't talk about how abusive my relationship was until years after
Absolutely not. Yeah.
because
I can relate to that.
I was ashamed. I'm that girl. I was that woman.
Mhm.
No, not
Mhm.
me. You know,
Mhm.
it was it was karma from it. It was past relationships.
Mhm.
That person kept showing up and kept showing up and kept showing up,
Mhm.
and then I learned how to close the loop so that it
Mhm.
won't happen again. I learned how to sign the contract, close the contract on that so it wouldn't happen
Mhm.
again. And then
Yeah.
I could start loving myself. But it was hard.
Mm. It was hard. Yes. Yeah, it's funny. Like you're saying, you would look in the mirror and you could look from nose
My
down,
nose
or
down, yeah.
you like I had to go to the point of writing sticky notes and affirmations on the mirrors, because that would force me to look up. It was like something. Oh, there's something on the mirror, and I would have to read it. It was that bad that I couldn't even think I love you. I had
Mhm.
to read it
Yeah.
for a long time before
Mhm.
I could actually be like, oh, that says I love you, and then I'd have to look at myself and go, oh, yeah, I guess I do love you a little bit. Like you're just an avatar, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
And once I realized that when I looked in the mirror, I was no longer looking for flaws, but I was
Mhm.
looking for the things that I loved. I knew that there had been a shift made. But it took going to that mirror every single day and saying I love you, or passing a mirror and intentionally backing up and being like, you're pretty fucking hot, just like anything or everything, to be able to give myself a little bit of a pat on the back for doing a great job. Keep in mind, I still thought I was fat. I still thought I was 5'1", 176 pounds. I looked like a basketball. I didn't know how to be in this body. I didn't know what that what that felt like, or what that attention would be. And I
And
definitely didn't know how to love it.
the same thing happened to me. I'm 4'11". I was almost 150 pounds, and
Mhm.
I was unrecognizable to myself.
Mhm.
And I stopped
Mhm.
looking in a full length mirror. Years. Stopped
Yep.
looking in a full length mirror. And then I said, no, this has to stop. This has to stop. You know, I can say you love food and you love to cook, but no, I hate it. It was self-loathing. That's what it was. And
Right.
I slowly pulled myself out of that. And that's another reason why I give Frank a lot of credit. We've been together for 5 years and I've lost 25 pounds in 5 years. I've
Wow.
consistently gone down in weight. And
Mhm.
not trying, because I don't have a negative body image now. I don't think there's anything
Mhm.
wrong with being overweight. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a little pleasantly I have no problem with that. But
Mhm.
because I think mentally I feel so much stronger now,
Mhm.
I'm not hiding behind the security of all that weight, because I think I was
Right.
I was using it as a shield, basically,
Right.
shield,
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
to guard, to protect myself from the world. You know, I mean,
100%.
I was celibate for 8 years.
Mm.
8 years. I did not have sex because
Wow.
I did not, and again, I might be sharing too much, but I did not want to put myself out there. I said, no, I'm not
Mhm.
doing it again. I'm not doing it again. I am a magnet for bad shit to happen, and I'm not doing it again. And, you know, I thought that I was protecting myself that way, but what
Mhm.
happens? You eat more and you eat more and you put the
Yep.
shield up, and now you're
Mhm.
unrecognizable to yourself. So you're
Yep.
unrecognizable to everyone else.
Mhm.
And that's not, you know, now I'm anonymous. Now I'm no one, you know, and I'm someone, and I'm someone that should be
Mhm.
loved, and I'm someone who has a lot to offer, and I'm
Mhm.
someone who gives love so freely. Why am I cutting myself off to all of that? And that's
Right.
when I started my healing, but it was hard looking in the mirror. I'm
Mhm.
telling you, from the nose down. It took
Mhm.
months before I could look myself in the eye.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, when
That one's intense.
you said sticky notes, I used to use, little hearts on with lip gloss on the mirror,
Mhm.
my mirror, little hearts with lip gloss, right? Because I'd have
Yep.
to look up also. Any trick
Mhm.
to look up, but I know I think that's why we bonded so well, because it's a similar experience,
Mhm.
truly. And
I,
it's horrible that you have to go through all that to learn to love yourself, but better late
but
than
I mean,
never.
is it horrible if you really really break it down into its smallest pieces? Aren't there little blessings throughout that time?
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
in my mind and in my processing, it's like those parts of the journey, although they were the most difficult, they were the most transformative. So therefore, they were um, the most impactful. That gave the best lessons and the best gifts, right? So now I get to decide how I can utilize those gifts. So like ultimately, like, bro, thank you. Like it kind of sucked to be in that situation where like just to kind of give a overview of a little bit, it's like, physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional traumas, any of that kind of stuff that happened within my relational dynamics.
Oh,
um
check, check, check. Same thing. Check, check, check. I
this,
understand.
yeah, you know it,
Manipulation in any way
mhm,
possible. Mhm.
yep. And then there's alcoholism and drug abuse and
Mhm.
and all those
Same
different
thing.
things. And then being sexually abused by family members, or however it plays out, like it's all in there. But those people signed up for the hardest lessons to give me, the
Right.
hardest lessons, right? They were there for the I can't imagine how they feel, right? So now I'm in that space of like, how hard was it for them? And some people it's not that hard, they're just meant to do those things, right? But my job on this planet is to surpass that and love them for what they did for me. you
You're a
know
better person
i
than I am.
I'm a powerhouse. I can change the world with just one thought. I can move
Yes.
mountains. I can do whatever it is that I want. And me holding resentments for the way that you treated me, or me holding you in a space of any kind of responsibility for my feelings, holds me back from my greatness.
Right. Right. Because you can't take it with you. You have to let it go. Because as
No,
you're
I'm not.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna put it in a box. No, I'm gonna put it like luggage. If I put this down and I can walk away from it in my head,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I have a thing where I go up in my little cloud and I have my little box of troubles and I set it down, and you know, whatever particulate is up there that wants to play with me, you know, whether it's a god or an angel or who cares, whatever wants to pop up in my imagination, takes that from me. And they're like, are you done with it? And I said, yeah, I'm done. You know, I'm gonna set it down. And they're like, okay. And if I can successfully walk away without looking back to it, I know I'm done with it. And then it will be taken away from me and it will be transmuted and given back to the earth.
That's
you know, and that makes me happy. So yeah, that's it's just, if you just look at it, all of it from that point of view, it feels a lot better.
No, that is beautiful. You're a better person than I am. I'm
No.
go, but I've never said thank you for, thank you for making me
Yeah.
Laura. But you are
Yeah.
a better person. But you're right. You can't take it with you. That's what I tell Frank all the time. Like as we're raising our vibration,
Mm-hmm.
none of that stuff can come with us. We have to set it
Mm-hmm.
down and let it go. It can't come. We can't take backpacks of pain and suffering and
Mm-mm.
strife and fear and
And why
aggravation.
would you want to?
No, why? Yeah, exactly. Why would you want to? That's why these purges are so important, because
Mm-hmm.
we let it all go. We really
Mm-hmm.
do. I mean, I haven't told that story, the mirror story. I don't think,
Mm-hmm.
I think I maybe said it once or twice out loud.
Oh,
That
wow.
women had problems looking in a mirror? I mean, it was. I
Mm-hmm.
used to, from the nose down, when I brushed my teeth, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't look myself in the eye. Now I'm like, "Oh, you're so cute. I love you." But I mean, years. I am almost 50 years
Mm-hmm.
old. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to go into the second half of my life with all of this. I want to,
Mm-mm.
hence pitching a tent in the living room,
Right.
because that made me happy to do that. It pleased my heart,
Right.
my soul to do that. I mean,
Absolutely.
come on. Come on. This life is a blessing. All that's
Mm-hmm.
in it is a blessing, and I want to enjoy those blessings, and I want to
Mm-hmm.
offer blessings. I try to be the best person I can. We can't always all the time, but you can pick up from
Mm-mm.
where you left off, okay? I can have a
Absolutely.
step back or a spill or a fall. I allow myself the time, and then I get right back
Mm-hmm.
up and I get right back into it, because
Yeah.
it keeps pushing me forward. It's the momentum that I'm building forward, and that's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I always want to stay in forward. I want to be forward thinking. I want to be progressive. I want to keep moving. I don't want to get stuck on the things that already happened. Do you
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I haven't told that story in such a long time, but it was important that I share it because I wanted you to understand that I understand where you're coming from, because I was there
Mm-hmm.
as well. And it sucks. But now
It's
life
so.
is beautiful. But now life is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my beauty. It may not be everyone else's, it's
Mm-hmm.
my beauty. I have enough for me, and I
Mm-hmm.
have enough to give you and you and you and you. And that is beautiful to me, because there's no lack in
Yeah,
scarcity anymore, because things are different. The things I
things are
thought
definitely
were
different.
important are not the things I find important now. And
Mm-hmm.
that is beautiful to me.
For sure.
So
Absolutely.
I loved meeting and talking with you tonight.
Oh, it's such a pleasure.
It was a pleasure, and I hope we can do it again. I really do.
I hope I hope so too. That'd be great.
And I want to know
Oh,
where you're
you.
going next. I want to know where you're going to be. And if you come,
I would
you have to come and see us.
absolutely. It's already in the vortex.
Oh,
It's
good.
already in
Oh,
the
yeah. Oh,
vortex.
good. I'm gonna put it in my text too. This way you come and see us,
Yeah.
and I'll cook and whatever, blah blah blah, and it'll be.
Yeah. It'll be phenomenal. We'll have a
Where
great time.
oh, did he leave us? Oh, here he is.
You
No,
guys
it
getting
kind
all
of
you guys getting all friendly with your vortexes over here. No, man,
yeah.
we just
Love
step back
Ari.
and let you amazing ladies do your thing, man. I'm thinking so Zach came up with the phrase. I'm thinking we're gonna need to put on the PaulaKhala show.
No, I'll
Put
definitely.
that in your massive vortexes, ladies.
Put that,
Yeah.
put that in the vortex.
It was good. And Kala, I loved meeting you, and you are beautiful.
Oh,
You are glowing, and I wish you every happiness in the world in your fear and
oh, same to you,
I wish
Paula.
you every happiness. Live the
Oh,
life.
same to you.
Zach, I love
Thank
you.
you so much.
I love you too.
Paul-
Thank you for coming on, Paula. We hope to have you again.
Thank you so
And
much.
Paul,
You know I love you.
I know, Paula. And Paula, you can follow Khala on her Facebook. Khala Sisla on
Yeah.
Facebook. She
I
puts
am. I'm
tons of
gonna friend
pictures of
her.
where she's going. All right. Well, there you
Hmm.
go.
I am. I can't wait to see, because now I have to know. Because now
Oh, absolutely.
you're forever in my heart. Now I have to know.
Oh,
In my heart.
yay.
And I love you all. But I
Love you
Love you,
too.
Paula.
it's like it's 20 to 2. It's almost 2 a.m. here now. So I
What a night, Paula.
I know this is very exciting.
Yeah.
Cal, I'm
Well, you're
sending
welcome. You like Frank are welcome, Paula. You like Frank are welcome any time. If you tune into the show anytime, you feel like you want to join the chat, you message me or Zach on Messenger. We'll send you the link to come backstage and just jump on into the conversation.
because this was a lot of fun. And Zach, thank you for letting me talk about weird shit and not judging me.
That's what I'm here for, talking about weird shit and not judging.
I know that. But you don't know. But thank you. I love you all. But I do have to drop off because I'm
All right, Paula.
tired. But I do
Good
love
night,
you.
Paula.
Good night. And Kala, really, all the love in the universe is for you. All the love.
Thank you so much. Same to you. Mwah. Love you so much.
Love you. Oh, how do I leave? Oh, leave studio. Okay. Mwah. Love you all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Paula.
How
All
fun
right.
was that? Yay.
I don't know. Tell us,
It
Paula,
seemed
how
pretty
fun
fun.
was that?
How fun was it?
It was awesome. It was awesome. Just to be able to have such a great conversation. It's just awesome. I mean, the moment of realizing, like, when she had not told the story of her sticky notes or my sticky notes and how they correlated, it's like that's the beginning of like truly learning how to love yourself, is just by like, hey, acknowledge the person that's in the mirror. So I thought that's just beautiful. And that she had not shared that in a long time is really impactful, because there's a lot of people that need to learn how to do that.
Yeah. Kind of overarching, I think, like we got to focus on the positives in our life rather than spending so much time focusing on the negatives. The standard, like amygdala, the primal brain really causes us to do the survival thing and watch out for the dangers and see what can be made better and all these things. And we have to use like our overarching conscious mind to purposely go like, okay, yeah, it's super dangerous. Yeah, I'm not perfect, but also like I'm so good at this and you're so wonderful at that and you're doing so good at this, and like, take the baby steps into the things that you are already doing rather than just like take a huge shit on yourself and should all over yourself at the same time, because like this is not good. Like you're not going to be able to build out of that by just pouring a bunch of dirt on your head.
Yeah, dirt showers don't usually get you clean.
Although they are enjoyable and high in microbes. So
hey,
sometimes, but not all the time. Moderation in all things, even dirt showers.
For sure.
But you gotta try it at least 3 times, not once. At least 3 times. Set and setting.
If you've only done it once, you haven't really done it yet.
Really.
You need the full triangulation, right?
Sometimes doing it once, twice is just enough, so you can say you did it, just so you can shit on it and not feel like a bitch because you actually tried it. But you didn't really try it. You did it really just so you could shit on it more, some more level of validity in your own mind.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about voting.
So yeah, I haven't voted since.
I do it so I can have a political opinion. The idiots who go, well, who'd you vote for? Oh, no one. You don't get to have an opinion. They can't say that, so I just tell them I voted for someone.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, those bumper stickers. Yeah, they start spinning the conversation at a whole bunch of higher levels because you're annoyed that's the level that you're allowed to have an opinion, as if you adhere to the system that binds everything together and binds them within it. So only
you are only worthy of an opinion if you buy into duality.
Yeah.
And it's technically actually true, because if you don't buy into duality, you don't have an opinion.
But you love to play with every opinion.
Yeah,
every
you just don't keep one, so you don't have one.
Yeah. Not very long. It's always growing and changing, man. It's a beautiful thing about life.
Yeah. that's like I'm doing some meditations on right now. What we're doing is like just understanding void space in an intuitive way. And like my experience with it today was very much so just kind of playing with the coincidental opposition of it, where it was like I was in a pretty deeply focused state, but when like I would have thoughts one way and they would like run over themselves the other way. It was super weird how it was just because it was like I was watching myself like wherever I would logically go down, the intuitive experience would go like inverted right back over the top of it. And so that was, I don't know, it's weird, but that's what the point is, right? Like it's that perfect opposition. So now nothing's happening, although everything is happening. So
Khala, how does that terminology resonate with you? Void space or working with void? What's that like in your experience?
Okay. So I guess it would be like let me see if I can find 3D words. Earth words are hard. Okay, working within the void.
you can use
space.
like Arcturian words or something if you want. We
Please
just might
do.
understand
Yeah,
them.
teach us. I'm sure I'd enjoy it though.
I mean, like I could totally like project some energy through the screen, but like I don't know who else is gonna get it. But you know, I'll try to put some words on it. So, working in the void space. So a lot of times, because I do consider myself somebody that's really good at being able to go into a meditative state no matter what I'm doing. I feel like the void space is when I can hit sacred neutrality and be able to be in the infinite creation space. So like for me, that's going into my meditations and going up into my creation space and then playing with the energies that are in there and seeing what comes up and then releasing that particular energy into a visualization to be able to transmute whatever needs to be transmuted from it and then let go of expectations of what's going to come down, you know. So it's like void space for me is just everything, is everything and nothing. But the most powerful space I can be, you know, like how do you define it?
But all that definition in between those two statements makes it far more graspable than just like, why don't I say it's nothing? You know, it's like people say that. It's like, come on, man, but give some more words. You can end with that again, but like give it some more words.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to like kind of sit in it and just in the void space, like you know, what was really fun was the other night whenever Zach, you were doing, it was like I kind of consider it like a portal meditation where you went through the portal and then you reconstructed the portal. I found that extremely helpful for a lot of people because like the void space is outside when you're looking, you're just kind of looking in, you know, it's like what's happening there, and then you can go to the other side and look from a different perspective, and then you can start over to the other side. And I have a lot of people that I do work with that say that I work a little bit too fast for them to keep up with. So like if they were trying to visualize me, I kind of look like a fairy that just kind of just moving around very quickly. If they can follow, and that's me moving through within that space, within that void space. But it takes a very special individual to be able to actually see me do my work within the ethers, you know, is the best way I can put it.
Yeah, I find things go fast there since time's not really a thing if you're able to work there. So
yeah, you just kind of, it just is. Yeah. But I try to let people see me through that space so they can see how to heal themselves as well. You know, so like you know, if I'm doing a walkthrough on, let's just say hip pain for something, you know, somebody's having hip pain and they just can't seem to get rid of it, and we're doing the visualizations, we're doing the walkthroughs, and you know, the root of hip pain is the fear of moving forward. So you know, it's like, okay, so like where in your life or lives have you been stuck in moving forward, or are you in a space that you can't move forward in? And so I would allow and open up void space for them to play with their imagination and figure out where this is coming from. It doesn't matter what the images are that come forward. It's just your imagination. Sure. It's non-threatening. It can't hurt you any longer. But what comes forward is very impactful for your healing. you know, whether it's a flower that comes up or an image or a person or an energy or god or goddess or alien, who gives a shit? It's just a reflection of something that you have to heal, and you have to look at through the symbol sets to figure out what it is.
Couldn't possibly agree more. Like, I think that's the greatest thing about basically looking at it as void, maybe like infinite potential, using it as that imaginative space and not having any kind of requirement for what it's supposed to be, allows our unconscious or subconscious minds to really project themselves freely without our like little managing of every single thing, what it's supposed to look like.
Well, you know, something that I found super, super helpful, and as soon as I did this, I saw massive amounts of change, is I addressed my ego, right? My ego would always get in the way of whatever it was that I needed to do. So I finally said, you know what, I need to give you a job. If I give you a job, then you're going to be busy. If you're busy, then you can observe, but you can't participate. So I'm just going to sit you right here, and I'm gonna tell you, your job is to keep me alive and keep me safe. Outside of that, you can observe, but you can't participate. My life changed instantly. Instantly. And as soon as and anytime I feel that little off kilter and I'm not back to myself, I'm not back to center, I'm not neutral, I stick her back on my shoulder and remind her where to go.
Yeah. I found that to be really helpful, helping people get off of like drug addictions and stuff as well, or even just habituation of, you know, whatever, some kind of psychological activity. Is just that, like, usually when you're habituating something, you're getting something out of it, and the thing is doing something for you. So like if it doesn't have some kind of job, or you're not replacing what it was giving you, then you're gonna urge back towards it, because that's the only place you know where to get it. So like we try to get off of something that we actually enjoy doing, and then sit there and like, what are we gonna fill our time with? Now we just do nothing. And it's the first way I ever encountered this was when I was really younger. Like I started smoking when I was quite young, and then like already at like 18 or whatever, I was going, yeah, you should probably stop smoking cigarettes. And I actually, it's funny, like looking back when we were younger, like the silly shit that like it would never pass with us now. Like if we said that, you'd be like, yeah, that's an excuse, that's not happening. But back then I was seriously like, well, but what would I do while I sit at the bus stop then? So I kept smoking because I would otherwise be bored at the bus stop. Yep. That's all it took, folks. Just needed that stupid ass reason to convince myself that was a good idea.
Just one excuse. I tell you, I started smoking cigarettes when I was 8 years old.
Oh wow.
And I quit. Yeah. I went. Okay, so story on this one. I went to the gas station at the corner to go get the candy cigarettes that come in like the little red white packages.
Yeah.
It's just like sugar, right? And so I go in, and I'm just like teeny tiny meek little girl, you know, and I go up to the counter and I'm like, hey ma'am, can I get a pack of the red and white candy cigarettes? Because they weren't on the shelf anymore. Well, apparently I was very, very, very shy, and all she heard was pack of red and white cigarettes. Well, that's a pack of Marlboro Reds. And she didn't give a shit. So all she did was put them on the counter, and I gave her my I think it was like $1. And I bolted, you know, like I'm gonna go back on my bike and figure out what the fuck this is that she just gave me. So I went in the woods, and I ended up smoking like 2 cigarettes. And I was like, this is pretty cool. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but like, it's pretty cool. And from that point on, I smoked all the way up until September of 2018.
Man, it's weird how you can start doing something, especially like cigarettes. Cigarettes are super good at that. I've found, like, someone starts smoking cigarettes, they've smoked for 3 months, and next thing they know, they've been smoking for 38 years. Like, it's just out of nowhere.
It's one of the only drugs that as soon as you take the cigarette out of your mouth, it immediately starts the withdrawal process. Immediately. So as soon as you take that last puff and it goes through your system, you're already in withdrawal. And you know, the fastest and easiest way to quit smoking, I quit in one day, and I read a book. Like, it was incredible. I was just like, okay, well, and the funny part was throughout the book, they encourage you to continue to smoke. And they're not telling you that it's going to kill you and it's going to be bad and it's all these things. Like, they just point out particular facts. And then by the time I was done reading the book, I was like, I'm just going to throw these away. I'm done. And I have not looked back.
It's weird how we just, like, sometimes we just need to hear that one thing and it just clicks in. You really never have any idea where it's going to come from. That's why I think novel experience is so important. Like, sometimes you're taking up something completely new and you have no idea that you even have some kind of thing going on, or that it would be that easy to solve it, and it just pops out of nowhere,
Right.
and you're like, oh wait, whoa, yeah, no, I can't do that anymore. Like that's not me.
For sure.
How'd that happen?
Right.
Aaron, are you
So
okay?
I am on
Yeah, I'm back.
6%, guys.
Technical difficulties.
6% battery.
I have 6% battery, so I'm about to have to tap out and go find a charger and go check on Charlie in the van, and just kind of see where the evening goes.
Well, we've been on here for 3 hours and 15 minutes, and it was fun having the PaulaKhala show. So
It was
maybe
wonderful.
we'll just wrap it all up now. And I thank everybody for being here. Khala, you're wonderful. Definitely come back. I think
Thank
you're going to
you.
host some shows on here. I hope you do.
Mhm.
Everyone loves you, and we would love to have you doing that, or come back on here anytime you want. So,
Of
and you said you're
course.
coming down to California sometime. If you're down by LA, that's where I'm at. We should hook up.
You might
So,
see me sooner than you think.
well,
We might be
We're
making a
here.
caravan out of it.
yeah,
We'll make it happen, one way or another.
Everybody shows up here. All of my additional gear for the podcast, so that I can have like a non-completely garbage camera and not sounding like I'm talking over a tin can, will be here very soon. And then we can we can shoot from the couch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll be
Yeah,
good.
man, right on.
Sweet.
Yeah, we'll do that, and I'll bring down extra when I come down, because you got how many? You got one. You got a mic coming, right?
Yeah.
I can probably bring down the other two. Does the mixing board you get? Did that have 2 more mic hookups?
It's just two XLR hookups.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a mic that I can run off my camera through the HDMI capture card though too. If someone's like closer to the camera, it's directional mic, so it can work pretty good.
Cool, man. We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. Exciting month, and I think every month's going to be exciting from here on out. So, right on.
Only excitement from here on out as we fly on a rocket ship through space. Yeah.
Come on.
Thanks everybody for being here. Like, subscribe, come back again. We love all of you. Thank you for joining us tonight and expanding your understanding. Bye-bye.
Bye.